Today, it's a last chance power drive, because only the strong survive. The Stanley Cup playoffs on Fox. Roll on. After Friday's brawl, Cap General Jim was kicked out of town. But today, Washington declares this is war. Superfan Mario has his X-ray vision locked in. Yaramir?
I'm thinking big, big. I want the people in the back row to see.
Now, whatever.
This just in. A shocker from the Jets.
No, not those Jets. Today, the Wings have to fly back into Winnipeg's white storm, and it ain't no winter wonderland, dude. Can Sergei and his Russian army kickstart the mighty wing machine? Winnipeg's done being dissed, and they're looking for another episode of Hobby 5-0. Book 'em, Nico. Last week in the Cup capital, Adam delivered New York from grave danger. Today, the Rangers return to Montreal, hoping the ghosts of Cups past don't return. Ricochet Ricker's standing strong, looking to send these little boys to bed without dessert. Well, Pierre's got to deliver, or Turgeon will need a surgeon, because these are the Canadiens. So what'll it be, baby? A cup or a mug? The one and only NHL on Fox.
Welcome back to Hollywood and the NHL on Fox. 5 teams have qualified for the conference semifinals, including 4 yesterday. Now today, the conference semifinals could be all set as the Rangers, Penguins, and Red Wings all come in up 3-2 in their series right here on Fox. And hello, everyone. I'm James Brown, and thank you for joining us on this playoff Sunday, as always, with my partner, Dave Maloney. Surprise at the Game 6s today?
Well, no surprise, Pitt, Washington, JB. You can't keep Yager and Lemieux out of a series. Mildly surprised we've got Game 6, Montreal Rangers. I felt Montreal the better team. First 2 games, Messier and Leach are healthy now. That's a difference. I'm shocked we're Game 6, Detroit, Winnipeg. This series should be over. Game 5 at home, Habibulin stands on his head for Winnipeg. We've got Game 6.
All right, we'll pick your brains for keys a little bit later in the program, but right now it's time for our Fox Watch, and what a difference a week makes. Last Sunday, the Rangers were down 0-2 and heading to Montreal, where they had won just once in their past 24 games. But after 2 wins in Montreal and another at the Garden, the Rangers can close out the series with a victory today. And calling the action will be Dr. Mike Emmerich. And good afternoon, Doc.
Good afternoon, JB. Mark Messier, the Rangers captain, has rallied them in this series. We know about the rib problem he's had. He's overcome that with a great pain threshold, but now it's a sinus infection. A sinus infection you can't will to get better. You have to just save your energy as best you can. There's a question mark. Coach Mario Tremblay has 5 Stanley Cup rings for Montreal when he played. His team in total has 5, and boy, did he pour the vinegar to them. Today is the day of truth, he said, to see Montreal's real players or phony players. It is fitting that Montreal would host this game today because this has been a magnificent series. 4 one-goal games, 1 decided by 1 plus an empty net. Tremendous shots, great saves, pucks hitting the post, thrilling action, goalies pulled, magnificent. To Landover and Sam Rosen.
Thanks, Mike. Here at the U.S. Air Arena in Landover, the Penguins are trying to wrap up the series. The Caps must win to stay alive. They go back to their #1 goaltender, Jim Carey, who was pulled in Game 1 and lost Game 3. Game 5 ended with fights between these 2 teams, and the Pittsburgh coaching staff accusing Washington's coach, Jim Schoenfeld, of sending out his tough guys to get their players.
Eddie gets the last line change. If he thinks for a moment, and that's what he said, if I have a reputation of doing this, if he thinks that I'm going to do it, he has the last line change. He can put on 4 of the toughest guys. We only had 1 tough guy in Berube. So he could outmatch us with toughness anyway. The second thing is that the player of the series has been Ken Reagan. Sergei Zubov has logged a lot of ice time. Peter Nedved has been spectacular, scored some real big goals. But the player of the series has been Ken Reagan. If I was going to send someone out after anybody, they'd be going after Reagan.
Caps and Penguins set for Game 6 here. Let's go to Winnipeg for Game 6 and Pat Foley.
Thank you very much, Sam. The first round of the playoffs was supposed to be a mere formality for the Detroit Red Wings on their way to the coronation as Stanley Cup champions, capping off one of the greatest seasons the NHL has ever seen. But it hasn't happened that way because Nikolai Habibulin has been unbelievable in the net for the Winnipeg Jets. 51 saves on Friday night. You can see what he's done so far during this series. He is the reason that this series has been extended. You have never heard such a ruckus circus in a place. The entire warm-up, this place was all jumping and rocking and rolling. And JB, the Winnipeg fans obviously hope this will not be the last NHL game that they ever see. Now let's send you back to the studios to James Brown.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. Hobby Bullen has been standing on his head. Jim Carey 0 for 1 in this playoffs. He gets to start today.
He gets to start, JB, and as Coach Schoenfeld said, he says Reagan's been the best player on the ice for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Carey, 5 shutouts in March, NHL Player of the Month in March. They need him today.
Red Wings.
Red Wings, would somebody please take charge of this hockey club? You go along all year, everybody assumes you're going to win the Stanley Cup. They must show that they can play with desperation. Last year, Claude Lemieux led the Devils. 2 years ago, Mark Messier took the Rangers to the finals. Somebody take charge of the Red Wings, please.
Dave Maloney wants to see some passion out there on the ice. All right, folks, we're going to send you out to the ice in your game right after this.
You're watching Fox's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
So, pads, they've got. Real protection, they've got. Including this Speed Stick, the only one tough enough for this league. Official deodorant sponsor of the NHL.
5 minutes. Introducing the Michelin X1 with a 6-year unlimited mileage tread life warranty. It gives you better wet traction than any rain tire, plus control in any driving condition. After all, it hasn't rained that much in years.
We gave Dodge Ram the most powerful overall line of pickup engines on the planet. A driver's side airbag. The option of 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. A cab designed to set the standard for comfort and room. Then, after we made Ram that good, we made it this bad. The Ram Sport. At America's Truck Stop, the new Dodge.
It's the Pizza Head Show.
Hey, everybody! Buy Pizza Hut pizza and you can get a Rawlings basketball for $4.99. Yay!
Hey, Pizza Head, how about a little one-on-one?
Well, okay.
Great. Beat your opponent.
But he's 6'40".
Don't worry. Here's referee Steve.
Oh, good. He's no ref.
Sure he is. Now get set.
Hey, wait, I'm not... What? No whistle?
Referee Steve says no harm, no foul.
Whoa!
Come on, Pizza Head. No goaltending.
Goaltending? What game are you watching? Ah! Somebody call timeout!
See you next time.
Time now to head to Winnipeg for Game 6 of the Red Wings-Jets series. Now, a few years ago, we saw the fall of the Berlin Wall, but this week we've seen the building of the Berlin Wall. Will this be the last game in Winnipeg? Pat Foley and Mickey Redmond have the call.
In Game 5 on Friday night, Nikolai Khabibulin turned in one of the great Stanley Cup playoff performances of all time. He stopped 51 shots, many in spectacular fashion. Today, will he be able to do the same thing and delay the Jets' final boarding call to Phoenix? Or will the Red Wings ground the Jets and take their first step toward Lord Stanley's Cup? When Game 4 of this series ended, most people felt they had seen the last game ever for the NHL in Winnipeg. Not so. Welcome to Game 6 from the Winnipeg Arena as the Winnipeg Jets play host to the Detroit Red Wings. Hello again, everybody. Pat Foley along with Mickey Redmond. It wasn't supposed to go this long, but Nikolai Khabibulin's been unbelievable, in particular in Game 5 on Friday night. 51 saves. If you're a Red Wing, what's going through your mind as you get ready for Game 6?
They're a good experienced bunch, Pat, with lots of age on that hockey club, and they've been through this before. Yes, they're a little bit frustrated that they couldn't score, but not to the point where they're going to change a whole lot. Expect a couple of different wrinkles offensively for Detroit today. They want to shoot the puck a lot quicker, get some traffic in front of Khabibulin, not give him a chance to set up to do another performance like he did on Friday night.
Nikolai Khabibulin, just 23 years old. This is only his 6th playoff game he's ever appeared in, and he has been absolutely a brick wall in the Winnipeg net so far in this series. And the guy who's been deemed the road goalie, I guess, for Scotty Bowman's Red Wings here in the early going in the playoffs, Mike Vernon, 1-1 so far in this series. And here we go as the draw is controlled by the Red Wings. And on the far side, a good hit delivered along the boards by Keith Kachuk, who's been a physical force so far for Winnipeg in this series. Meanwhile, Bob Airy able to pick it up, and he clears it the length of the ice. Going to be an icy call here against Detroit. And now a little bumping between McCarty and the Jets' Craig Muni as that icing call was made. A little discussion about it, but no damage done.
Scotty Bowman knows that the Winnipeg Jets are going to be here in Game 6 trying to physically go after his Red Wing club, especially in the early going. This building, you cannot hear yourself think. These Winnipeg fans savoring every second that they have this team here. Of course, they're moving to Phoenix next year. And the Jets have got some extra life after Friday night. And Terry Simpson can only hope that Nikolai Khabibulin is as spectacular as he was in Detroit, and his team can begin to generate some offense, Pat.
He is likely going to need a similar performance here today if the Jets are to extend this series. Here's the draw. Cleared in behind the Detroit goal. Now Fraser wrestling forward along the boards. Here's Zimnoff with a shot. It didn't get through. And Larionov comes out for the Red Wings. He's going to chip it in there. Newman in back for Winnipeg. Couldn't field it. Now Fedorov does. He's stopped but gets help from Larionov. Larionov cuts in behind the goal center. Nobody home for Detroit. Fetisov has to chase back for the Red Wings. Now Fedorov. It's up from Fetisov, who clears it out to center ice. It's a long shot. And it's steered aside by Vernon. To the Detroit goal. Mike Vernon leaves it there. Shannon goes crashing in, kicks it loose. And the Wings Johnson able to pick it up and push it back into the Winnipeg zone. MacIver chasing it down, icing coming up against Detroit. We should tell you about the officials today. Rob Schick is the referee. The linesmen are Randy Mitten and Brad Lazarowicz. And how about these fans? You never heard a warm-up like that, have you?
That's something, Pat. They're cheering even the icings here in the building. There is beefed-up security because of some foolishness that happened after Game 4 here. And they certainly hope, the genuine Winnipeg Jets fans, that just a small few don't ruin it for all the rest of them. But with this team moving to Phoenix, of course, it's a tough situation, and a lot of people very upset about that.
I think they do deserve some marks in the during the anthem, Mickey. I guess when the Red Wings were here earlier in the series, they were booing the United States anthem. But today, what they did, they just cheered "Go Jets, Go!" So it was a much less negative feel in the arena. And hopefully there won't be any of the nonsense that did take place here during and after Game 4. Aaron Shannon clears it out to center where the rookie Shane Doan chips it in. He was short of center, but this puck is not ruled icing. And Bergevin for Detroit. Meanwhile, Bergevin got a big hit from Doan. And the puck cleared down into the Jet zone. Primo tried to play the man and missed Manson and left the puck there as well. Into the corner goes Draper, battling with Eastwood. Now a couple of others join in. Here's Draper coming out with his center one tip right through the goal crease and eventually to the stick of MacIver. More MacIver. And they tip it into the Detroit zone. Both teams make changes on the go. Veteran Mike Ramsey darts the wings away to the left side where Draper rolled it back into Winnipeg territory. Nebrodowski lost the handle. Now carried on by Kachuk. He's knocked down by physical here in the early going, and now Khabibulin is going to take a whistle. And every hit, you said it, Nick, every hit brought a huge response from these loyal fans.
That was Kachuk at center ice, knocked down by Maltby. He's in the lineup today, replacing Doug Brown. That's the only lineup change for the Red Wings. Maltby played here in Game 4, played well, played physical, got an assist, and earned himself another start today. Tkachuk, who was out of control in games 1 and 2 in Detroit, took some bad penalties, put his team in a bad position, got scored on, finally began to get it settled down, Pat, in game 3 out here. He's too good a hockey player to spend that much time in the penalty box.
His captain told him that too, didn't he?
He sure did. And you see the C on Tkachuk today because Chris King is out, of course, with a knee injury. And there he is with special permission from the NHL to be an assistant coach today behind the bench with Terry Simpson.
Now the Jets, Eddie Olczyk on the left wing board, shooting one in. Hoffey chasing forward, jammed it to Airy. He put it in behind the net. Now Janney tried to center, came back to put it across. Little save by Vernon. First good chance of the game for the Jets. And Mike Vernon shut the doors early and scoreless in a loud Winnipeg arena.
Best chance the Jets have had here. Janney gets the loose puck, and Olczyk with a stick on the ice to the left of Vernon. Got the shot on goal. And Mike Vernon had to be sharp there from a chance that was created from nothing because the Red Wings had possession. Bat in the corner. And the Jets got the turnover. There's the veteran Eddie Olczyk in his second stint here in Winnipeg. Scored a big goal in Game 3.
He was one of the guys being used a lot by Terry Simpson in Game 5. As healthy short bench the Jets had as that game wore along. We asked Olczyk about it before this one. He didn't think fatigue would be any sort of factor at all. If any of these Jets are tired, this crowd's going to lift them up.
They're going on motion too, Pat. And this series has been a quick-paced series, and Jets are trying to get every ounce they can out of this thing because nobody expected them to go more than 5 games against the Red Wings.
Konstantinov pass up front. Nikita Kozlov stepping and shooting. He scores! Vyacheslav Kozlov up over the glove of Khabibulin. And the first good chance of the game for Detroit goes in. It's 1-0.
Looked like Kozlov may have caught Khabibulin moving. He moved to his left, and he snapped the puck before he really quit skating. And the Russian 5 do their thing again. Right down the middle, you see Numanen out of position, can't get over. And Kozlov going to his left, goes back to his right, beats Khabibulin over the catching glove for the early 1-0 lead. 3 minutes and 46 seconds into the hockey game. Second goal of the series for Vyacheslav Kozlov. And that's one of the things that they've talked about, Pat. We were speaking to the Red Wing players earlier today. We want to get our shots away quicker. Don't leave this kid a chance to set up, because when he does that, boy, he's unbelievable. So look for them to shoot quickly. It doesn't have to be a hard shot. Just on the net.
Here comes Yzerman over the line. He's surrounded, though, and it's stripped away from him. Harry shoots it in. That's the thing, Mickey, talking to many of the Detroit people before the game today, they didn't seem to be particularly concerned. Yes, they didn't want to have to come and play this game, but how much better can they play than they did in Game 5? They were just beaten by a red-hot goaltender. That is the one thing they did talk about, though. Quick release on the shot. Here's Harry trying to center. Hit the side of the net. It went to Yzerman. Steve Yzerman, watched by McIver, who gave him a bump along the boards. And they're going to hold it there for a whistle.
Now, just to follow up on that thought, Pat, Dino Ciccarelli now is just coming on the ice, playing with a broken nose. But he, the guy like McCarty and Ciccarelli, will go to the front of the net. They camp in there every chance they get, especially on power plays, to try to get that goaltender off his sight lines and disturb him with the shots coming through. And even though Detroit had 52 shots the other night, a lot of them, Khabibulin could see them, and they were big wind-up, big slap shots. And they want to try to change that today by getting the puck away quicker and getting guys to the front of the net to create traffic and kind of get this guy off his game a little bit.
Mike Ramsey getting Detroit set up. Sends it to Lindstrom. Tips it up the middle. There's Primo. He streaks over the line. He's in on Tavernowski. He stops his run and then dislodges the goal as he went crashing into the far post. Right now, let's go to JB in our Hollywood studio for this NHL Pizza Hut game break.
We've had a 1-0 game to report to you as well. Take a look at Sergei Zubov at the blue line. Shot stopped by Carey. Pivonka tries to clear it. Zubov stops. Cross ice to Lemieux. He goes past Carey. And the Penguins are up 1-0. That in the first 2 minutes of the game. Back to Pat Foley and Mickey Reagan.
There's a look at the Eastern Conference setup in the first round of the playoffs, Mick.
That's amazing. Montreal wins their first 2 games, then they go and lose the next 2 back home. Messier seems to be a lot healthier. And what did Mario Tremblay say about his team? I want the real players or the phonies today. Let's see who shows up. Pretty strong words.
Chris Draper delivered a good hit to Shane Dunn, and Primo got right in front of his net here. To the corner, then it's held in. Here's Tavernowski at the slot, center one. He didn't connect with Shannon right in the goal mouth. Chopped loose and the wings. Primo control. Primo sends it in. Detroit has and I think Happy Bullen made the save just as the puck got to it. It took a crazy hop and nearly trickled through the legs.
I'll bet you his heart was in his throat that time. There's Dino Ciccarelli. Not wearing a football face mask or anything. Broke his nose in practice 3 days ago with a collision with Marty Lapointe, who has not played in the series. And Dino said, he said it's probably the 10th or 12th time I've broken that thing in 15, 16 years of NHL wars. That I'm not wearing anything in front of me. It distracts me too much. Just re-break it, set it, and let me go.
There's another guy that can't wait for tomorrow. He gets better looking every day.
He is a competitor, boy.
Oh, man. You saw the numbers. 8th all-time in the playoff goal-scoring list. 69 goals in postseason competition. Igor Korolev tipped it ahead. Jamnock one-on-one with Konstantino. Konstantino played the body all the way. Rising into the corner. Kozlov then mishandled it, but gets a little help. And Fedorov walks away for a check to center. Now has gone on to mishandle it there. And Jeff Finley able to clear it to center. Jamnock surrounded by red sweaters. Unable to advance it. It is taken away by Kozlov. 1 against 3 to the line. He was surrounded there. Ariana picked it up. Hurrying it in. Fedorov chasing it on Newman. They lock up one another, and Shannon gathers it in for Winnipeg. Leading Manson to center. Dave Manson. Manson, who's got a great shot. Fired about a 100-footer. And it beat Vernon to the glove side and hit the inside of the post and came out. That's less than an inch from being a goal, I would imagine. When we get another hit with that. Wow. Here's Doan. Back to the line. Good. Good line of there by Bergeron was busted. And Johnson. Looking to clear. He puts it up over the glass and into the crowd.
Baby, they're going nuts. I love it. Young Chad Kilger hasn't played a ton in the series. Big, tall kid. Really went after Maltby. Doan took a big check from Bergevin. And the Jets come within a hair of tying this hockey game. Dave Manson with about a 80-footer. And what he did, Pat, is he just sort of took it easy like he was going to dump it along the boards. And he turned at the last second and whipped it to the far side. And Mike Vernon was just about to go to the outside and go back and retrieve it.
And it was on the inside of that post,
yes,
too.
It was. It sure was. So he caught him, but he faked him out.
Kachuk and Yzerman will go for the draw. And Yzerman got it to McCarty, who tipped it around the boards. Bob Airy on the left side. Safely clearing it into Jet territory. Veteran Craig Muni chasing it down. To Tavernowski, who was bumped, couldn't get it out. Airy to the corner. And into his own man, McCarty, who had been knocked down. And here come the Jets away. Tavernowski with a 4-on-3 rush. Gets to the line with Pochek there. Nice stand-up play by Ramsey. And that took care of that rushing opportunity for Winnipeg. Greg Muni will send it in. Vernon tangled behind. That's going to be a penalty coming up against Olczyk, I believe, as the Jets control the whistle sounds, and Ed Olczyk is going to beat Rob Schick to the penalty box. The Jets trailing by a goal now will be shorthanded.
When does a car feel good? When things are easy to reach. So we built a cabin simulator that varies the location of almost everything the driver uses to drive the car. We move the parts in and out and up and down. It wasn't until everyone was comfortable that we could relax. Dodge Stratus. It's full of answers. Now during the Best Buy celebration, get $1,000 cash savings, 1.9 financing, or a low lease rate.
The new reloadable smart card. The future is happening now down under and on its way here. From MasterCard, it's smart money.
To play well is to leave a mark. Upon the field, upon the earth, upon others. And playing well leaves a mark on you. You're gonna get thirsty. That's why there's Gatorade. Because as long as you're making your mark, you don't want to be drinking something that misses it. Life is a sport. Drink it out.
Pat Foley and Mickey Redmond in Winnipeg, where Eddie Olczyk's been given a penalty. And now the Jets will be shorthanded trying to hang on here. The Detroit Red Wings with 7 power play goals and 33 chances so far in the series. Here's Larionov. Has room on the near side. Takes a look. Now shoots. Khabibulin stopped it. Rebound to the corner. Kozlov moved it to the line. Fetisov moved to the deep slot. Now here's Fedorov. He is back with it to Fetisov, who unloads. And a save by Khabibulin. Rebound cleared into the neutral zone. And it was nearly an offside play against Detroit, but the linesman says play on. And Konstantinov will, feeding Kozlov over the line. He's surrounded and got help from Fedorov. Side of the net, now Fedorov has it once again. Out to the line, Fetisov. To Fedorov, a one-timer. Hit the goal post. That was the inside of the near post that Fedorov hit with a rocket. In behind the goal it goes. Now Larionov comes out there with it to Fedorov. He got it knocked away by Stapleton, and he gloved it back to center ice. Just under a minute left on the Detroit power play. And the Wings captain Yzerman now has the line. Sweeps it nicely to Cicerelli, who leaves for Coffey. He's not shooting. Khabibulin saw that one all the way. Stopped it and held it. See Paul Coffey right now, Pat, talking to Keith Primo, and that's exactly what they're talking about. Because Coffey was expecting Primo to go in front of Khabibulin to screen him. And most goaltenders at this level are going to just have a big smile for you when they think that you think you can beat them from 45, 50 feet, because you just aren't going to do it. But Coffey expects somebody to go to the front to screen that goaltender and hope to sneak one by him. And distract his eyesight at the very least, or completely screen him on the play. Lidstrom now to the corner, Cicerelli. Hansen trying to work him over. Now Kachuk does. It's held into Coffey. On quick shot blocked by Zhamnov. And then Muni came away with it. Greg Muni tried to send it ahead. It deflects away from Kachuk. And it results in an offside call anyway. Right now, let's go to JB in our Hollywood studio for this NHL Pizza Hut game break.
All right, let's take a look at those powerful Pittsburgh Penguins. Mario Lemieux, this is the team on the power play. Lemieux looking for Yager. You can't see him circling behind the goal, and he scores That made it 2-0. Jim Carrey was pulled. Take a look in New York. Messier, the captain, leading the way. Verbeek in stride, and he scores. It is now 3-0 Rangers. Let's take you back to your game.
And in our game, the Winnipeg Jets trail the Detroit Red Wings 1-0. There's 14 seconds left on a penalty to Winnipeg's Eddie Olczyk. Many dignitaries, obviously, here for the last, or potentially the last, game in Winnipeg. Were those guys all wearing white?
That political bunch has been here for the whole series.
Yeah.
They're coming a long distance, those guys.
If any of their phones ring, don't answer. Here comes Coffey or Yzerman. Plenty of room to the line. And Manson poke-checked him there, but Yzerman trying to hold it in. Finally lost the handle. Meanwhile, the Jet penalty over. And both teams were at full strength. The Red Wings come close on the power play. Hit a goal post on the inside of the post, but did not convert. And it's going to be...
They waved it off.
Did wave off icing as the play remains alive. And here's a steal by Janney for Tkachuk. He couldn't field it. A bouncing puck captured by Bergevin. He got it to Erie. And now Draper had a problem at center, but Coffey carries on. Oh, and he had McCarty wide open. He cuts in there. Center one. Blocked by McIver, who saved the goal. The net was wide open for Draper. Norm McIver just saved the goal for the Jets. Now in the corner they do battle. 4 players in after it. And McIver, now Manson and McCarty are ready to go, but then decide to back off. And McIver shoots it in. You see, we're halfway through the first period, a 1-0 Detroit lead. And the Jets Tavernowski lifted ahead. Kozlov backboard. Good, gave it away. Shannon's pass deflecting. It's a drive. And that hit the side of the net, I believe, as Eastwood ripped a hard wrist shot. And the puck cleared back. And we're going to have a penalty coming up now against the Red Wings. Well, the Winnipeg Jets, who have yet to score a power play goal in this series, nothing out of 24, now get their first chance here today.
Mike Ramsey's to the box, but what a chance Mike Eastwood had. He went up over top of Larionov, tried to block the shot, and he wrapped it off the short side goalpost to the left of Mike Vernon, where Manson's was on the inside of the post. Eastwood's was on the outside, and there's the great stop by McIver as McCarty tried to shoot past it across the 33 Draper with the net wide open behind Hobby Bolin. As Pat pointed out, the Jets 0 for 24 on the power play. They just have not been able. The Red Wings led the regular season in the NHL in the penalty killing department. And they do pressure the puck, and they'll look to go offensively. Even in a shorthanded situation. 2 shorthanded goals in this series already, Detroit.
Now here's the draw. And not taken down behind that. The play goes on. And the Red Wings able to clear. McIver and Newman are the point men for Winnipeg. Janney, Jannoff, and Tkachuk out in front. Fedorov and Larionov for the Red Wings, along with Lidstrom and Konstantinov. Just miscue in a pass, and Konstantinov bounced it to Larionov. He had an opportunity to clear it, maintains possession. Oh, now the Wings going to move offensively. Fedorov finally got stopped at center, and Janney starts back to Tkachuk over the line. His pass hit his skate, and Konstantinov, I should say, Lidstrom able to hold his ground and clear it to center right. McIver brings it back in. Yzerman to Konstantinov, and he clears it the length of the ice with a minute left on the Winnipeg power play. Manson shoots it in. Yzerman and Janney in the corner. Puck jammed loose to Tavernowski. Tavernowski long flip shot. Oh, it went to the line, just outside the line as Vernon was sprawling in his goal. To the drive. Blocked by Bergevin. Harry chased it down and clears. Now Manson with
tried to advance it. He shot it wide. On the near side, it's picked off by the wings. And Taylor able to clear it.
7 seconds.
Korolev. It is rush broken up by Primo, who deflects it over the glass and into the crowd.
Well, the Jets have only got 3 seconds of a power play left, Pat, and they still are going to be 0-4 when the 3 seconds go by, but they certainly got a couple of scoring chances on this extra man situation. There was a redirection by Korolev out in front. It hit Vernon in the seat of the pants, came down and just trickled by the left goalpost. He had no idea where that thing went after it hit in front on the deflection. There was Janney on that one, and boy, that was too close for comfort for Mike Vernon. Let's take a look from above the goaltender.
And they cleared, and that'll take care of the Detroit penalty, and both teams are at full strength. Mike Eastwood looks for Shen, and the pass was behind him. And now Cicerelli. He had a two-line pass. It should have been. Here's Cicerelli over the line. Centered one. We're going to have a penalty coming up against Winnipeg. Here's Johnson putting it in front. Bouncing front. Cicerelli couldn't get to it. Doan does. And the whistle sounds. And another penalty coming up here from referee Rob Schick with 7 minutes left in the first. 1-0 Detroit as the Wings will head to a power play.
Note the back position. Oh, what a tragedy!
Inside your engine, the dividing line between protection and destruction is a thin film of oil. Quaker State exceeds the highest standards for protection against thermal breakdown, volatility burn-off, corrosion. What's the state of your motor oil? Quaker State exceeds the highest standards for engine protection.
Look for the Quaker State 360 rebate during National Car Care Days, plus additional savings from these manufacturers at participating retailers.
Introducing the Michelin X1 with a 6-year unlimited mileage tread life warranty. It gives you better wet traction than any rain tire, plus control in any driving condition. After all, it hasn't rained that much in years.
Mike Eastwood in the box. Bad penalty to take, not necessary, just interfered and roughed the T-top. Those are the kind of penalties the Jets took in game 1 and 2, and it hurt them. Usually the ones in the offensive zone, the unnecessary ones, you pay the ultimate price, and that usually is a goal against.
And this Detroit team is too good. You can't afford to take bad penalties against them. It's going to catch up to you eventually.
You're going to take enough just, playing the game against this team, but you can't go out of your way to knock people around when they're not allowed to play and put your seat short-handed.
Korolev trying to get it out. Can't. Cicerelli's pass deflecting twice and held in by Lidstrom, who tees it up, shoots one. Gave a rebound, did Javi Bullen, but it just eluded Cicerelli. Dino along the boards. Only lost it to Newman, and he clears it the length of the ice. Coffey's quickly back in there. Stapleton got to him along the boards. Newman rings it around, held in by Fedorov to Lidstrom. Tees it up, fires! Deflected up off the glass. Now Yzerman. Gave it to Fedorov. Sergei Fedorov shoots one. He ripped it wide of the near post. Then Coffey held it in. He advanced it toward the net. That didn't get through. Fedorov along the boards to the corner, and Cicerelli answered with a big hit on him. Now they battle for it. Nobody knows where the puck is, so the whistle is gone. And Rob Schick, I think, blew the whistle. Mickey, it appeared he thought that was still in the skates of the 4 players along the end board.
Well, sometimes, believe it or not, the puck can find its way up the leg of a hockey player's pants and get lost. And Cicerelli went in and took the bump from the Winnipeg defenseman. This shot almost got Tino right in that broken nose. The little son of a gun just keeps going back to the front of the net. He is fearless. It was Lidstrom. He was off balance. That was the problem, and it hit a stick of Darren Shannon. Dino was really complaining about something that happened after that shot. He got clipped by somebody, I think, along the far boards.
Nick, I think he also was complaining about a Winnipeg change. He thought there were too many men on the ice. And it did seem that the Jet player had come on, gotten involved in the play, and the other guy was still 8 or 10 feet away from the bench.
Yeah. Hard to believe. I mean, you're playing with a broken nose. He goes into the corner, takes the checks. I mean, it's got to be sore just taking checks. Here he sacrificed his body. He knows Big Manson's coming. And he throws that little body of his in the way to try to throw a check on the guy delivering the check. And a lot of times he surprises people, even bigger guys, and knocks them down. But he knows how to play this game after all these years. One of the smaller guys in the game, but not afraid of the physical play.
There's a long shot that doesn't get through, and Zimnoff hammers it out to center ice. Kachuk, a good hit on Fetisov with half a minute left now on the Detroit power play. Constantino took a hit to feed Larionov. He put it to Fedorov. Fedorov gets things set up. Sergei Fedorov moves in. He's looking for his first goal of the series. He does have 6 helpers to lead the Detroit scoring list. Now Fetisov to Larionov to Fedorov. He whipped and they score! What a good break for Kozlov. That pass was going to, or the attempted shot was missed and went right to Kozlov, and bang, it's 2-0.
Now, Mike Eastwood does pay the ultimate price in a bad penalty. And it's the last thing the Winnipeg Jets can afford to do against a hockey club that can put the puck in the net like the Detroit Red Wings. And indeed, the Red Wings cash in on it. And Kozlov gets his second of the game, third of the series, and a 2-0 Detroit lead. Here's Kozlov. Look at him just backing up out of here. He gets back out of the way. Fedorov's trying to drill it here, but it just trickled right to Kozlov, and he just gave a little flip shot. He had Habibulin down and out and could not move once he had made his direction known. And there was the miss that went off Manson's skate right to number 13. No mistake by Kozlov. Again, the Jets hurt themselves with an unnecessary rough penalty to go shorthanded, Pat.
And now they're in a 2-0 hole. McCarty sending it in. McIver back. Gave it to Stapleton. He took a hit but fed Manson. Dave Manson chips it in. Barry's back for it. Meanwhile, a good hit delivered to Airy, but McCarty comes out for the Red Wings. He was stopped at center. Now Ciccarelli wants to handle it. Jim McKenzie, who makes his first appearance of the series. And he flipped it ahead, but Coffey got it to the Winnipeg line. Olchek for Kachuk into the Detroit zone. Around the check, he cuts right in there. Shoots, and a save by Vernon. Mike Vernon has not been tested often here in the first period, but he's made a couple of dandy stops. And Detroit still has a 2-goal lead.
These kind of moves, Pat, got Keith Kachuk 50 goals during the regular season. Right there, Lidstrom tried to play the puck, not the body. And Kachuk went to the front of the net. Never really got a great shot on goal, but Vernon had to reach back as that thing was sliding into the net.
Never indicated a goal. He's putting his hands down like the safe sign. He's going to go to the replay for sure. Well, that puck was up in the air and swatted in by a Jet player.
It looked like it was a high stick from up here, but we know one thing in this business: you never know. Let's go to this replay. Because up here you get a bit of a different angle. Let's see if we can figure it out before they do upstairs. In the replay booth, right off the face-off, Kachuk is the guy, number 7 right there. It's going to be the guy that knocks the puck down. It's turned over right there behind the net. There it is. Can't exactly see where he's making contact. The crossbar is...
Oh, no goal.
I don't think so. I think he caught it about a foot above the bar. But right at bar level is... not shoulder anymore, but crossbar level is the criteria, and indeed, they've ruled no goal. It looked like he got that thing about a foot above the bar. And again, from behind, a higher angle up here. Yeah, he's way up. Yeah, he's over his head, so no question about it.
And Rob Schick was on it. He indicated no goal on the ice, and then it was up to the replay official to overrule that if he saw fit, and obviously he should not and did not overrule it. It's still 2-0 Detroit. Lidstrom. It's help from Ramsey. Long feet up the middle. Broken up by Tverdovsky, but carrying on is Lidstrom. And then Cicerelli didn't know the pass was coming. Here's a steal by Primo. Primo moves in there for Yzerman. Well, then he couldn't quite corral it. Back of the goal goes Primo. Primo center. Yzerman right in. He scores! Steve Yzerman left all alone in the goal mouth. Primo found him and bang. The Red Wing captain makes it 3-zip. And this play's a little bit quieter than it was a few minutes ago.
Well, you know, after what happened Friday night when that man stopped 51 of 52 shots, the Red Wings got to be feeling, thank goodness, that we finally got something to go on this guy. The first problem that the Jets had here, Pat, is they fell down. I think it was Muni over on the far side. That created the turnover to Primo and Yzerman, and then the puck gets wheeled behind the net. Here comes number 19. Primo just a little backhand flip, and Steve Yzerman, one of the other things they talked about, getting the puck up on Khabibulin, because they've only scored coming into this game 4 goals of their 16 were on the ice. Or 4 of them, rather, of the 16 were upstairs.
Steve Yzerman scores his 33rd career playoff goal in his 81st postseason game. And the Red Wings with a commanding 3-goal lead here in late moments of the first period. Now Konstantinov up the middle for Larionov. Good backhand pass on the money to Kozlov. Steps over the line. Knocked down. Puck rolled loose. Fedorov nearly got to it. Instead, Zhamnov did that. He coughed it up. Here's Kozlov for Larionov. And he was checked nicely by Zhamnov. Alexei Zhamnov able to send it back into the Red Wing zone. Yaroslav Kozlov. Able to push it out to center. Then Maltby turns back with it. Dane Doan to the corner. Sends it to the near side. Now McIver. Able to turn it loose. And now Doan holding it in. His long shot. Hit a leg deflecting wide. Eastwood. Against Bergevin back of the net. Now Shannon came out of there with it. Shannon centered one. Bouncing puck just away from McIver. And it winds up back in the Winnipeg zone. 2 minutes left in the opening period and a 3-0 Detroit lead. All Coffey. With a bounce at to center. Going to be a 2-line pass. And it's touched by a Red Wing player. But instead of Jet touched it first. Then Doan delivered a pretty good hit to Johnson from behind. Now McIver. Gets over the line around a check. It had it stripped away. We're going to have penalties coming up here. There was a scrum in front of the bench area.
I can't believe I'm losing my hair back here.
There's what you've had for 5 games, and the interesting point is loss 1-0, a loss 1, a loss 1, and a loss 1. And I guess that would indicate, Pat, that if you only get 1 goal, you're not going to win. The Red Wings have 3, so they hope that continues here in the latter stages of period number 1. And they've outshot Winnipeg 9-5. There's been a whole lot of shots compared to Friday night, that's for sure. But the Jets, again, with very few shots on goal, and that's been a problem for them throughout this series. And quality chances, they might have 2 or 3 in the period, and that's it.
Meanwhile, Detroit's Johnson, Winnipeg's Kilger given coincidental minors. So we go 4 skaters aside now. And Zhamnov. That is pass picked off. Here comes Yzerman. Stevie Wonder over the line. Center one. He's just Coffey unable to corral it as he was cutting to the net. The puck still wound up in the goal crease, and Khabibulin stuffed it there. He's a lot more dangerous than the fans here realize. That really was 3-on-2, and Paul Coffey steaming up late as he likes to do at a great speed from the defensive position. Just missed getting a good scoring chance. I think he got a little piece of it, but
And it trickles harmlessly into Bobby Boolin's left pad. Coffey's a great reader, isn't he, Pat? Got to read the play, when to go up, when not to. Sure, you're going to make some bad reads. It's a game of mistakes, but more times than not, Paul Coffey knows exactly when to head up ice, baby.
Even when he makes a mistake, he's so fast, he gets back and cover it up.
That's right.
What a beautiful skater. Here's Armstrong. Big save by Bobby Boulin with a shoulder down lead pass for Kachuk. Just bounced over his stick at center. Who's there? Coffey to pick it off. All Coffey 3-on-3 the other way. And offside is the call.
See there, Lidstrom also tried to go high on Hobby Boulin, Pat, and he got that one. It's obvious the Red Wings feel what I was trying to say there before, and I had it in all kinds of directions, is the Red Wings have only been able to score 4 goals of their 16 on the ice. Hobby Boulin is excellent, taking away the bottom. So they've got to try to get the puck up, and you can see it's obvious that's what they're trying to do today.
Coming up during the first intermission, James Brown and Dave Maloney bring you all the scores and highlights from today's Stanley Cup playoff action. Also, we'll have a look back at one of the greatest playoff games in Stanley Cup history. Wednesday night's grueling 4-overtime battle between the Penguins and the Caps. Don't miss all that and more from our Hollywood studio coming up in the first intermission, which is 64 seconds on the clock away from happening. Konstantinov, who is the best plus-minus rated player in the NHL at a +60 this season. And they get the Red Wings underway. Coach moving around. He still can't find a target. Now has room to Fedorov out to center. Sergei Fedorov fires along when he fluttered it wide. Fedorov chasing it down in the corner. Gets help from Lariano. Newman took a hack at him. Held in by Fedorov. Centered one is picked off. And the Jets start back. Newman has no help as the Jets are changing players. Had to just slip it in with 20 seconds left in the period. Lariano slowly to center. Doesn't have a lot of help now. It comes in the form of Taylor Hussein. A blocker save made by Hobby Boulin. Rebound to the Jets bench, and the clock winds down, and he'll run out of time as the first period comes to an end. So Vyacheslav Kozlov, Mick, who had 1 goal in the series. In fact, he and Hobby Boulin had a short exchange in the media about who was doing what so far in this series, but he comes through in a big way in the first period.
In English, too, by the way. Yeah, he's a little sniper at 36 on the year, so they're happy he's got 2 today.
Winnipeg in trouble. They trail the Red Wings 3-0 at the end of 1.
The NHL on Fox. The Stanley Cup playoffs are brought to you by Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL. By Speed Stick by Menon. Like you, it never quits. By the new Dodge. We're thinking ahead. And by Valvoline DuraBlend, the #1 selling semi-synthetic motor oil.
Will this be the first year that a Canadian-based team won't make it to the playoffs since 1974? Past the first round, we'll find out. But let's get you caught up on the action. Lemieux.
Mario Lemieux is going to get a power play. Keith Jones put his team in the hole, taking a penalty early. This is a one-timer off a great pass from Zubov, who did a good job keeping the puck in. Mario buries it there. Mario is happy. You just cannot keep him and Jagger off the board. This is goal number 3. Nedved throws with a puck to the net. Francis follows it, and that was it. 3-0 Pittsburgh.
Carey faced 3 shots allowed, 2 goals. Mario Lemieux started off with a sinus problem. I think he's breathing easier.
Actually, it's Mark Messier. He had the sinus problem in Montreal, but he makes a great play here as Graves through the middle. Messier to Verbeek, a one-timer wrist shot there. Now, this isn't quite as pretty, but they did this in Game 3. Collapse the front of the net. Jam, jam, jam. Who's going to jam it last? Adam Graves gets his 7th, JB.
And I had the memory problem. Thank you very much, David. 3 goals in 62 seconds for the Rangers. Detroit and Winnipeg.
Wow, we're seeing some talent here. This is Fedorov to Fetisov to Larionov, back to Fedorov to Kozlov. I think Ov in Russian means it's my puck. I'm going to keep it. Detroit's done it. Wonderful job.
And from Dave Maloney, 0 for 25 on the power play. Winnipeg is in this series, and we will have more on the NHL on Fox after this.
Are brought brought to you by the new Dodge. We're thinking ahead. By Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers. By the U.S. Army. Be a part of the toughest, smartest Army in the world. Be all you can be. And by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. You live life, you get thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
The Detroit Red Wings would like to give themselves a couple of days off before they get ready for the second round. They're in great shape to do that. As you can see, they have a 3-0 lead over the Winnipeg Jets. And if there was a mental block for the Red Wing players regarding Nikolai Habibulin, they seem to have answered the questions themselves.
Yeah, they sure have, Pat. I think that what we spoke about in the top of the show, they're trying to shoot much more quickly. They've done that. They've tried to get the puck up high, and they've done that as well. So I think they felt, I think there's a big sigh of relief in that dressing room down below us right here after what happened Friday night in that spectacular performance. And finally, we got something to go by this guy, and I think you'll see more of that coming in the next 40 minutes, or at least attempts to do so.
All right, well, let's take a look at the first period summary brought to you by Bud Ice. 12-5, the Red Wings outshoot the Jets in the opening 20 minutes of play. The Red Wings have the advantage in just about every one of those categories, and the most important one, 3-0 on the scoreboard. Vyacheslav Kozlov, who had been held to 1 goal in the first 5 games of this series, pots 2 in the opening period. The first before the game was 4 minutes old to take a little starch out of the home team. And it'll be interesting also, Mick, to see as this game goes along. We talked about how raucous the crowd was in the early going, and in the warm-up they were cheering their hometown team. But as that first period went along, the Red Wing attack shot 3 silencers into the crowd. Let's see what happens here in the second. We go 4 skaters aside for the next 10 seconds or so. That's the time left on some coincidental penalties. Konstantinov for the Red Wings goes rink wide, but he missed Fedorov with a pass, and Numanen kicks at it, couldn't get it out. Fedorov is checked in the corner, and Jamnov picks up long feed to Kilger coming out of the penalty box. He moves in there, fire, and a save by Vernon, and it trickled past him through the goal crease and out the other side. That's just the second shot on goal in this series for the rookie Kilger. The first one went in and was a game-winning goal. And now here's Jamnov taken down. It's going to be a penalty coming up against McCarty for Detroit. Ed Olczyk fires a long one. Vernon gloves it. He'll hold it. And just what the Jets would have hoped for, Mickey, a little chance for some momentum here in the opening moments of the second period.
Yeah, Darren McCarty caught Jamnov on the right foot, knocked him down. Rob Schick could see the whole play clearly and makes the call right away. There it is to the left of Habibulin. And for the Winnipeg Jets, trailing 3-0 after 20 minutes. I mean, yes, there's lots of time, 40 minutes left, but when you think of the little bit of offense that they've been able to create during this whole series, that's a problem for them. So they can only hope to get the next goal in this game.
0 for 25 on the power play. Kachuk, Olczyk, and Janney are out in front of Numanen and Jamnov on what would seem to be a very important power play for the home team. Here's the draw. Jamnov, a long shot, is blocked by Yzerman. Numanen, who's the top scoring defenseman for this club during the regular season, able to move it out to center. Janney weaves over the line. Lost the handle. Konstantinov couldn't get it out. Janney threw it to the corner. Konstantinov there with time and room. Clear it.
Big Janney has had a tough series. Only got 3 points. And they have really shut him down as well as his teammates. I mean, he's got lots of company. Not being able to generate much momentum offensively against Detroit.
Draper trying to tip it out. It went behind that to Coffey, who hammers it around the boards and down the length of the ice. Jam now. A minute remaining on the Detroit penalty. Now McIver moved it to center, and Janney gains the line, then lost it in traffic. Then it's held in by McIver. Top of the ring. Lets it go.
It didn't get through. Good shot blocked by Mark Bergevin. And the Wings able to clear.
That's a good example there. The Red Wings, 4 of them, even defensively shorthanded. They converge on that puck carrier if the situation is correct. And they shut it all down. They don't even get a shot.
McIver was short of center when he chipped it in, but it hit the stick of Lidstrom. Now back of the goal, Shannon. Couldn't get to it. Mike Stapleton. Threw it in behind the goal, Shannon. Trying to feed Stapleton. He's checked by Larionov. Larionov jammed it loose. Taken by Fedorov. He moved it to Lidstrom. Lidstrom to center to Fedorov. Put it over the line to Larionov. Far side. He stops. And then his drop pass picked off by Stapleton. Well, the Detroit penalty over, and both teams are at full strength, and that Winnipeg power play snuffed out without many threats at all. Oleg Tverdovsky motors to center. And fires a long one, deflected way over the glass and into the crowd. It's early in the second period, and the Red Wings still lead it 3-0.
It's about change. About breaking rules and making new rules. About building machines more in harmony with humanity. Questioning everything. It's about change. The new Dodge.
Canadian teams just not doing real well, Pat, this year in the playoffs. Look at that down at the bottom. 1974, the last time a Canadian club did not reach the second round.
And it's very close to happening, possibly today. The Rangers have a big lead over Montreal, and the Jets are trailing by 3 goals here. There you see the other scores. Montreal scored against it. Now they're down just by 2 goals. To the Rangers. Meanwhile, Norm McIver kicks it into the Red Wing zone. They're enough to play it up the boards. And it deflects to center. Eastwood shovels it back in there. He's Primo. Nearly going to hit, but Kachuk got a piece of him. And then the Wings Coffey comes carrying it over the Winnipeg line. Tried to center one. It was behind Draper though. And Kachuk for the Jets. Leads it back to the Detroit line. McCarty brings it in. And the crowd trying to come to life once again here in the Winnipeg Arena. With their home team spurred on. They battle away in the corner. McIver trying to get a whistle, and he succeeds. Right now, let's go to James Brown in our Hollywood studio for this NHL Pizza Hut game break.
All right, Pat, Montreal back into it with the Rangers. Take a look. Ryan Savage to Pierre Turgeon with the score. That makes it 4-2. It's now a 2-goal game there. And in Washington, the Capitals on the board. Take a look at the action in front of the net. Dale Hunter bangs in the rebound. 3-1 Pittsburgh still leads it, though. Back to Pat Foley and Mickey Redmond.
Mickey, as looking at the series so far in the opening round, home ice is a guarantee of nothing.
Yeah.
So far, the home team's record coming into the action today, 22 wins, 20 losses.
There isn't any question the intensity is picked up in the playoffs. The effort level is unbelievable.
And Tverdovsky brings it in behind the Red Wing goal. Vernon put it off the glass to Airy, who chipped at it, couldn't get it out, now has a second chance. And got it to center where McCarthy goes at the length of the ice. Going to be icing here against the Red Wings.
Home ice is nice, Pat, but tell you what, these guys are they talk about hockey and all of professional sport being one of the most unique experiences, the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I think that's one of the reasons why. It just doesn't seem to matter. The level gets picked up such a great degree from the regular season, the intensity, and everything's under the microscope, every little play, and effort-wise, there's nothing left behind.
Does the fact that so many of these arenas, especially a lot of the newer places now, they're so similar, does that have any impact? You know, you don't have
I think it does.
The nuances of the old Chicago Stadium or the old Olympia or the old Boston Garden.
Oh, for one thing, right off the bat, they're not as intimidating anywhere near. I mean, there wasn't a more intimidating place than that old Chicago Stadium. People right on top of you there. It's amazing.
There's the draw now. Kozlov. Gave it to Larionov. To Fetisov, who left it for Igor Larionov. He was stopped at the line. Now Finley starts the Jets back to Newman. His pass deflected away from Fraser, who was pressing up the middle of the ice. And we're going to have a penalty coming up here.
To Detroit, I believe. Or is it Winnipeg? I'm not sure. You can't tell by the actions of Rob Schick. Jamnov's having words. Of course, he's a countryman of the Russian Five, and they're very friendly normally off the ice, but no friends when the game starts. And Jamnov's going to go. Both doors are open, it looks like. And Larionov. Interesting pair to be in the box. Larionov rarely takes penalties. And Jamnov's pretty upset about having to be over there in the bin. There's a little hook right in the middle of your screen. Right there. There's Jamnov, and he gets slightly hooked down by Larionov. He hooks him in the hip, on the right hip. Down he goes. And the Jets fans, of course, booing because they're wondering why is Jamnov in the penalty box.
Well, the call on him, Mickey, is unsportsmanlike conduct.
For Jamnov.
Yes, he must have said something, I'd imagine. I didn't see that he did anything that might warrant that penalty to be called, but we'll go 4 skaters aside once again. Well, the Jets looked as if they might have a power play chance.
See that little lonely guy sitting behind Jamnov? That's Chris Osgood. Not enough room on the benches here. The spare goalie has to sit over by himself by that door where the team comes off and watch the game from there.
Abby Bullen rolls it to Olczyk. Needs some help in the corner. Then it's dug out of there by Yzerman. He walks to the slot center. Coffee a shot and a save by Abby Bullen. Rebound Newman. Stefan Newman has room to the Red Wing line. As it hold up, Olczyk would have been well offside.
And he goes to the bench thinking, what a waste of energy. You got to get the puck up. Headman the puck.
Lidstrom's pass deflects off of Kozlov to Abby Bullen. And he will decide to play it. Here comes McIver. Emerson cut the neutral zone. Corralled by Fetisov. Throw that 2-on-1. Kozlov has Konstantinov with him, but a bad pass will cost the Red Wings a scoring chance. And now here comes Manson for Winnipeg. His pass deflects into the Red Wing zone. 40 seconds left on the coincidental minors. And Kozlov moves 2-on-2 with Fedorov. Gave it to Sergei to the line. His pass to the feet of McIver rolls to the net, and Abby Bullen covers it up. Next Sunday, it's the Stanley Cup Conference semifinals, and the NHL on Fox will be there to bring you all the action of the best players in the league face off for the most historic prize in all of sports. Coverage beginning at 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 Pacific. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area right here on Fox.
That term you use, bad pass, Pat, you don't see that very often from the Russian Five. These guys are so darn creative. And Abby Bullen, you saw a second ago, he grew up watching and admiring especially 2 of the Detroit Russians. Larionov and Fetisov were 2 of his idols, of course, on the Russian national team.
But he always, here's Bergevin, a long shot. Abby Bullen stopped it. Loose puck to Kachuk. Oh, Taverdowski. Up to the line was stopped there, and the Red Wings, Mark Bergevin, had his pass picked off. Here's a counter for Janney coming in there. Center Bergevin broke up the play, and Coffey on the counter ahead for Johnson. Motoring in over the hole. It's ruled to be an offside pass, and the whistle sounds. 7 minutes gone by in the second period.
Over, they try to make the play up the middle. It's intercepted by the Jets and turned right back the other way for a 2-on-1. But Bergevin, who had made the play, makes the good defensive play as Janney goes across the front and doesn't complete the pass.
And there's a guy in his 11th year, Mark Bergevin, knowing who your competition is. We're going to have a penalty coming up here against Detroit, it looks like, just on the face-off. And it may be a major. Rob Schick is going to check whether the player's been cut. Kilger.
Yeah. Bergevin, or is he going? No, Bergevin's going to go out to the Detroit dressing room for some repairs, it looks like. And Mike Ramsey goes to the penalty box for a high sticking penalty.
I just started to say about Bergevin on that play, knowing your competition. Craig Janney's going to pass the puck 90% of the time. He's very reluctant to shoot. Bergevin sensed that, got in the passing lane, made a great play.
Well, Jets are yet to have a quality chance in this period. There in the middle of your screen, you see the high stick right there with Kilger coming to the net. He got clipped by the stick of the veteran Ramsey, and the Jets have the power play here. 12:38 left, second period, and it remains 3-0 Red Wings.
And again, the Jet power play has a chance to put some life into this home team. The fans are alive. They need a little spark on that bench, though, and the Jet power play has been ineffective would be a nice way to say it so far today.
Last power play here in this game, they did not get a shot on goal, Pat. And to try to pressure the puck like that, even shorthanded.
McIver looks for Kachuk. Well covered, but he advanced it in there, and it's chased down by Fedorov. He's got time and cleared it to center. Two-line pass. Larionov just a foot or so across the checkered red line before he received it. And the two-line offside pass stops the play, and a chagrined Scotty Bowman. He doesn't like to see that.
Scotty Bowman looking to be the first coach to coach a Stanley Cup team with 3 different teams.
Face off in the Detroit zone. And Larionov chasing it down, able to swat it to center. Lumanen hammers it back in. Old check. Bounce one to the line, McIver. Sends it in behind Kachuk. He couldn't field the bouncing puck. It came loose to Fedorov, and then he failed to get it out. Old check. Took a bump. It came free to Fedorov. Couldn't get it past McIver. For Numanen. Sends it around the boards. Kachuk chasing it down. Boy, the Wings forcing the Jets to the perimeter. Aggressively chasing the puck. Now 2 Jets let the puck roll loose. Fedorov's going to beat everybody to it. Jammed off, and Numanen said, I got it, you got it, and see you later. 45 seconds left in the Jet power play. Olczyk on the right side. A drop pass for Tavarovsky. Fires right on Vernon. Fought it off. Rebound Yzerman. Hey, clears it the length. Good stop there by Mike Vernon. Looked like Mickey. Really, he fought it off, but got the right arm up.
Tavarovsky with that good speed and went right to the net and wound up and ripped it. He knows he's going to get closed in on very quickly.
Korolev to Janney. His drop pass is read perfectly by Erie. Down the ice it goes. Now Coffey steals one. He shoots it into the Jet zone. Tavarovsky up the middle. Here's Janney with room. Has Korolev with him. Tried to center. Picked off. Called Coffey. Tried to clear. Couldn't get it out. Meanwhile, the Detroit penalty over. Both teams are at full strength. Back to the goal. Stapleton center. Brown blocked the feed with a goal stick. And it's cleared back into Winnipeg ice. Dave Manson. He shot, long shot from center ice in the first period, hit the inside of the goalpost and came out. That could have maybe changed the situation in this game. But the puck didn't go in, and now it's in the Detroit zone. They wrestle along the boards, and Konstantinov comes away with it and ran into Doan behind the net. It's held in. Eastwood to the corner for Shannon. Works against Draper. And Chris Draper won the puck. And sweeps it back into the Winnipeg zone. And McIver gets back to touch up for the icing call. We're halfway through the second. Detroit still leading 3-0.
Inside your engine.
The Red Wings lead the series 3-2. They lead here in Game 6, 3-0. The second period has been a scoreless one for the first half of it. 2 Winnipeg power plays have gone nowhere. And a big couple of chances to get back in the game, squandered by the Jets. Meanwhile, Mickey Bergevin, who you mentioned left the ice, has returned. That was an equipment foul. We're going to have a penalty now. Big collision in the corner between McKenzie and Ciccarelli. McKenzie's going to get the call. And now as the Jets control, the whistle sounds, and Jim McKenzie trying to stir it up. This seems to have been a series-long problem for the Winnipeg Jets, Mickey. They're trying to be aggressive, but they're getting carried away.
Well, it's one thing to try to finish your checks. A coach likes that, but you can't go out of your way to mug people, hog-tie them, pull them down, and interfere with them when they're not involved with the puck in the play. I mean, that's roller derby, not hockey, and that's one of the things that the mandate and the referees was set out to stop. And Big Jim McKenzie made it very easy for Rob Schick to make this call.
Starting to say, though, that Bergevin had returned to the ice after leaving for a slight equipment problem. Now Fetisov a moment ago, when we were away for a second, had to leave. He seemed to be moving well. I have to guess that was an equipment situation as well, so he probably won't be gone for too long. But there's a kid, Mark Bergevin, his 11th year in the NHL, opened his career with the Chicago Blackhawks, a very solid, likable guy. He's a good guy to have in a club. He's lasted a long time in this league. Here's Lidstrom, a long shot. Good save by Happy Bowman. And now the Jets look to gain control. Newman does. And cleared it to the Red Wing line.
Bergman's had a very good year, Pat. Played with Paul Coffey a lot this season. Very solid defensively. Doesn't hurt you much at all. And the odd time will chip in with a goal here and there.
Solid guy. Doesn't shy away from the rough stuff. I mean, he can deliver a hit and take a hit and is willing to take a hit to make a play.
And a tremendous guy in the dressing room, as you know.
Yes, sir.
Very humorous guy.
Here comes Primo. Got it over the line for Ciccarelli on the right side. Dropped it back to Lidstrom. Sweeps it to Coffey. Trying to bank it to the front of the net, but got a bad hop off the end boards. And Zamnoff tried to clear it. That hit a Red Wing player on the bench. There you saw Paul Coffey, Mickey. I don't know if I called that right. It seemed to me, though, he didn't have a shooting angle to get the puck directly to the net. He looked like he tried to intentionally shoot it wide and bank it toward the slot.
Well, Paul Coffey knows that you must get it by the guy that's coming to check you immediately. If you don't get it by him, you don't have a chance. And a lot of times you're going to give up a scoring chance if you hit him. So when you see that, and again, that's the ability to read a play that's in front of you. When you see that, you've got to miss the guy in front, even if you miss the net. You hope. Now there's Coffey just going wide. He saw the 2 Red Wings down in deep. It was Yzerman and Primo there. And he's open for a redirection in front or a bank off the backboards. But he knows enough not to drill it into that front forechecker in the penalty kill.
The 6th all-time point man in Stanley Cup playoff history. 177 points to go with those 56 goals you just saw. Here's the draw. And Fedorov lines it around the boards. A minute remaining in the Winnipeg penalty. Muni for Manson. He goes up the middle to clear it.
Coffey didn't get 56 goals, Pat, by drilling them into the front forechecker. He knows better than anybody how to go to the net, boy, in a lot of situations.
Kozlov had to chip it into the corner. Manson there, and look where Larionov is. He was along the boards when Manson still didn't have the puck yet.
Think he studies the game, the film?
Well, now the net behind Vernon is knocked off and the whistle sounds.
That's exactly what Igor Larionov can bring to you, boy. Since the trade earlier this year, and Larionov came to Detroit, he has been unbelievable.
That was Dave Manson had not yet reached the puck in the near corner, and Larionov went right to the boards in the far corner, just knowing that's where the puck was going to go.
Very, very much a thinking hockey player, Igor Larionov. And there goes Manson back to make the play. See, he's really didn't disguise what he was going to do, but there's Larionov over here. He went right over there as soon as he saw what was happening. Again, that's just an ability to make a read and know an opponent and try to figure out what he's going to do before he does it. And usually the better players in the league are very good at doing that kind of thing.
Few seconds left still on the Winnipeg penalty. And a long shot nearly took the head off the linesman, Randy Mitton. Now, Detroit's Bergevin to Airy, right wing to McCarty. He had it stripped away. And the Jet penalty over, and both teams are at full strength now. Jeff Finley got a rough ride from McCarty, who knocked him down. Now they wrestle along the boards. We're going to have a penalty coming up against the Red Wings, I believe. As the puck is cleared to the neutral zone, Coffey has it, whistle sounds. Winnipeg will get their third power play of the second period. They have yet to score, trailing 3-0.
Pizza Hut, your triple deckeroni pizza. Shh, baby.
Whoa! Wow! What a pizza!
New Pizza Hut Triple Deckeroni Pizza. 90 pepperoni pieces, 6 cheeses, 2 crusts, 1 hellacious taste.
As a rule, engines develop good torque only when you push hard on the accelerator. But even at idle speed, a Dodge Magnum V8 can pull not only this loaded Ram 1500, but this loaded 2500, and a loaded 3500 as well. 15 tons. That's because every Ram truck has to pull much more than its own weight, even at idle speed. That's our rule. Dodge Ram. The rules have changed.
There's only one yard sale big enough for America's backyard. It's America's largest yard sale at Sears, with great savings on all mowers, all tractors, and just about everything for your yard. It's America's largest yard sale at Sears.
Jeff Finley back into the corner here to pick up the loose puck. Here comes Darren McCarty. He puts a lick on Finley, a clean hit, no penalty there. But there comes Mike Stapleton, and Steve Yzerman will put the hook on his left foot, knock him down. Drop Chick there to make that call. Jets back to the power play. They've only got one shot of the last 2 power play opportunities.
Teppo Numminen hammers it in. Janney tipped it into the corner. Kachuk is wrapped up there. Now Olczyk had it hop over his stick. At the near point, Jamnov. Alon Rishat didn't get through. Kicked aside by Constantino. And Chris Draper cleared.
A lot of the ability of the Red Wings to read plays defensively, in penalty-killing situations is responsible. Their experience, really, for reading plays and not allowing them to happen. That's why they're the best in the league through 82 games.
He's been chipped to Larionov, and he clears it. And the first minute of the Jet power play gets nothing going. Numminen. Or Kachuk. Plenty of room to the Red Wing line. Got a Bergevin falling down. He also lost his stick, but still managed to poke check it before that happened. And it's cleared back into the Winnipeg zone. Igor Korolev gave it to Jamnov. Jamnov to the line. Stick handling in traffic. Peels back to the deep slot with it. Leaves it for McIver. Moves in. Fires. Deflected just wide of the near post. Now in the corner, Korolev. Put it in there deep. Took a funny hop. Staple, and the puck's on the mesh in behind the net. And the whistle sounds. So we can now go to JB in our Hollywood studios for this NHL Pizza Hut game break.
Hey, Pat, Mickey would want me to describe it this way. The Rangers on the power play in blue. Alexei Kovalev looking to pass it to Doug Lister. The shot goes up with the derrière of Patrice Brisebois. 5-2 Rangers. Back to Pat and Mickey.
I beg your pardon? Why did that go off? I didn't know JB had a little French in him. 14 seconds left here in the Yzerman penalty. And boy, this Winnipeg power play, Mickey, that'll be very disheartening to have not scored a goal in 6 games almost.
And here again, 14 seconds left. The penalty to Yzerman. They don't have a shot yet.
Tverdowski trying to hold it in, but Draper pressured it back to center ice. Tverdowski, with the Red Wing penalty expiring, it's cleared to center ice. Shane Doan, a bouncing puck. He sweeps it in there. Taken by Mike Ramsey. Got it to Taylor. His pass deflects in the neutral area. Now captured by Taylor. Pushes it into the Winnipeg zone. Oleg Tverdowski trying to clear it, failed to get it out. Now Muni picks it up. Tverdowski for Doan. He couldn't handle the bouncing puck. And the Jets have to chase back again. Well, again, they try to get out of their own end, and finally, it is cleared to center where Muni kicks it in. He was short of center ice when he did that, and it's going to be ruled icing against Winnipeg. Down to 4 minutes left in the second period.
Back with the other 2 defensemen. Look at that. Boom, puck's turned over, dropped right back into the zone. Always one forward backer most of the time. That's the system they try to play, and they've been very effective with it throughout the season. Even the lowest goals against in the league.
Dave Manson able to clear it to the neutral zone. Squirts loose to Primo, back in over the line, but his pass was behind Draper. And they wrestle into the corner. It squirts loose to McKenzie. He bounced it to Olchek. In on Coffey, and Olchek spins, dropped to the trailing Kachuk, bouncing puck. He never could get control of it. Now Manson along, wrist shot deflecting over the glass and into the crowd. This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Hockey League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this telecast, including the imposition of a charge for viewing the telecast without the express written consent of the National Hockey League, you can't do it.
Mike Vernon right away to Rob Schick. That should be outside because the Jets deflected it up and over. Big Dave Manson had a good argument about it, and he's still screaming at the linesman from the Winnipeg bench. You're not going to win it. Faceoff comes outside.
Tisov has returned after leaving for what seemed to be an equipment problem, missing a shift or 2. And now Fedorov has it. Cranks it in there. Chasing it down himself in the corner. Fedorov first on it. Back to the line for Tisov. A one-timer hit the backside of Numanen. And now taken by Kozlov. With Fedorov, he shoots. Javi Bulin stopped it. Rebound. Bouncing around to Zhamnov. Zhamnov fires it around the boards. Back into the Detroit zone.
Jets are almost playing that like they were short-handed, Pat. They're standing around watching the Red Wings move the puck. But the Russian 5 can do that to lots of people. But you can't stand them watching, boys. You better get your feet moving.
Detroit's Igor Larionov to Vyacheslav Fetisov. Now looking for McCarty, who has the line with a long wrist shot. And a save by Javi Bulin. Just got a piece with a glove. There's a 1-on-2, Mickey, and the Jet defense is backing right in, allowing a shot. Here's Yzerman behind the net. Muni able to strip it away. Hit it to center. Janney moved it to Olchek. He dumps it in. Vernon lines it around the glass. And they wrestle forward along the board. He is. And as the Jets control, the whistle sounds.
Eddie Olchuk did ease up some on Mike Ramsey, but he still knocked him forward. And Rob Schick makes the call here from checking from behind. It could be a boarding, roughing, whatever. And that, of course, is a play that we'd like to see completely out of the game of hockey. It's a totally unnecessary play, but Olchuk, here he comes in on 15. He bumps him enough to bump him forward. He didn't crash into him, but you don't need to hurt a guy when he can't see you coming and you end up with a broken neck or something on that dasher board, you know.
That's that never land. A couple of feet from the boards is the most dangerous area, obviously, and that's what they've tried to clamp down on the last couple of years.
You know what they try to do with the kids is teach them, the young hockey players, young boys and girls, if you can see the number on the back of the opposing guy's jersey, then don't hit him when he's near those boards like that. It's unnecessary, and people get hurt that way. Now the Jets will go into a shorthanded situation again. The last thing they need, trailing 3-0, minute 48 to go, second period. And still they've been able, Pat, to generate only 4 shots on goal in the second period. Total of 9 altogether.
All Coffey fires it in. Cicerelli battling along the board. Shamnoff wrestling with him. It squirts loose. Yzerman able to gain control. Now Lidstrom at the point takes a look, decides not to shoot it. Put it to Primo. Rolling it in behind. Cicerelli. Took a bump there, stolen by Newman, and he couldn't get it out. Here's Primo's pass, but it just missed, connecting with Yzerman. Yzerman and Korolev do battle in the corner. Squirts loose to Shamnoff. As we go to the final minute of the second period. Here's Lidstrom for Detroit. Gave it a Coffey, who carries it quickly to the line, stopping and brings it around. Kozlov. That's spun along the end boards. Now Fedorov has it. His pass deflecting, and it's held into Larionov, and now we have Kozlov, or Fedorov is shaken up. Fedorov is down. The play is continuing, and now the whistle sounds from Rob Schick, and Sergei Fedorov is down.
Well, Dave Manson can only hope that nobody saw this. He gave Fedorov a two-hander with the heel of the stick across the back of the leg. There it is right there. Number 4 and 91. Cut him just below the knee, it looked like. Here comes Manson right here. Boom. And I don't think Rob Schick saw it.
Mickey, that might have been the type of thing that happened to the Rangers' Sergei Nemchinov. He had an injury I've never heard of before. He had a calf muscle that basically exploded. His nerves and his muscle were showing through. It took 7 stitches to close the wound, but there was never a cut in his hockey sock or his inner sock. There was no cut, and his muscle just somehow came apart, and he's missed a few games. He is playing today for the Rangers, but maybe it was a similar type thing that happened to him, but nobody could figure out how the muscle would be cut open like that, the calf muscle, without the hockey sock being cut. And now Cicerelli talking to Manson about what you saw.
Yeah. And hockey players don't miss a whole lot. They know pretty much what goes on. And Manson took the heel of that stick, which can do the damage, and turned it over. And a lot of times you get hit in the back of the knee, the back of the leg like that, and everything just goes numb.
Well, it has been suggested that several Soviet players around the league, and of course the Red Wings have quite a few, are pretty good with the stick themselves. And now Fedorov is going to need some help to get to the Detroit dressing room. Coming up during the second intermission, James Brown and Dave Maloney will bring all the scores and highlights to you from today's Stanley Cup playoff action. Also, don't miss Fox Sports Choice Cuts, which features the best plays and the hottest players from this year's Stanley Cup playoff so far. All that and more coming up from our Hollywood studio during the second intermission.
Primo's out on the ice now talking to Manson, and you see Fedorov being helped off. And of course the point, Pat, is that it's one thing to get high sticked or clipped or whatever, but when players deliberately take the stick and try to hurt somebody, and that's what they're giving it to Manson about, that's a different story. You don't like to see that. from anybody.
So it went indeed undetected, and the Red Wings will have a one-man advantage for 45 more seconds as the draw is taken by Yzerman. Fires it around the boards, and Cicerelli handed loose to Primo. Moves in behind the net. He's hog-tied there by Tverdovsky, who won the puck. Tverdovsky jammed it loose, took a shoot, and he bounced it back into the Red Wing zone. And now here comes Coffey. In over the line, racing in around Newman, and centered one. Here's a shot, and a save by Khabibulin as the second period comes to an end. We have completed 40 minutes here in Game 6. The Red Wings have a commanding 3-0 lead at the end of 2.
The NHL on Fox. The Stanley Cup playoffs are brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT, the way to save on collect calls. By MasterCard, official card of the NHL. By Pizza Hut, home of the all-new triple Deckeroni pizza. Have one delivered today. And by Quaker State, the motor oil that exceeds the highest standards for engine protection.
They've finally made it home. But something is definitely wrong.
This charlatan is nothing like me.
A brand new Sliders, Friday at 8, 7 Central. Because the world can be a big, scary place. Chevy Blazer with the exclusive driver control system. It's nice to know it's there.
Dear Dave, I'm looking for something new and a big juicy cheeseburger with the works. And if you could make it 99 cents, I'd be grateful. I got a lot of expenses. P.S. I sure love a Thousand Island dressing. I hear you loud and clear.
Introducing Wendy's 99-cent Deluxe Double Stack. Dave stacks down 2 patties of fresh beef, a full quarter pound. Wendy's 99-cent quarter pound Deluxe Double Stack Cheeseburger. Big taste, small price.
When Dow was asked to develop materials for a high-performance shoe company, our technology had to work as hard as the athlete. We knew that. That's why when Dow engineers look for results, we don't always start in the lab. Sometimes, we open a field office.
Tonight feels kind of weird, but it's a good weird. I can feel it in my bones. This is not going to be your run-of-the-mill, laundry-doing, pizza-eating kind of night. I will not be exercising tonight, or philosophizing, or organizing. What I am going to do is look for women who look like trouble, and I'm going to flirt with them heavily, because tonight, I'm not just drinking beer. I'm gulping life. I'm going to eat the night alive. What are you going to do? Olsen Ice, step outside.
Fox 2 Stanley Cup playoff coverage brought to you locally by the Chevy Blazer, genuine Chevrolet.
You're watching Fox 2 Detroit.
Second intermission here along with Dave Maloney. I'm James Brown. Let's get you caught up on the action. Yes, indeed. Khabibulin looking for another big game.
The difference in this game, he got beat early. This is goal number 2 in a power play. Nice tic-tac-toe. Fedorov over to Kozlov. You know, JB, Detroit wants to shoot high at Khabibulin. Primo out to Yzerman right here. What a goal off balance. Little wrister. This game got a little bit nasty late in the second period here. Penalty minute leader for Winnipeg. Dave Manson nips Sergei Fedorov from behind. He hits him in the right leg with the stick. We see him hobbling off. You know, JB, Kalle Johansson and Mark Tenorti, who now play for Washington, both suffered severe injuries on a like play.
And we'll get you an update on that as soon as we know. Rangers in Montreal.
That is not Mark Messier, despite the fact he's battling some sort of sinus problem. This is goal number 4. Curry in the first period outmuscles Fitzpatrick in front, but the Canadians won't die as Thibault goes out. Jablonski comes in. There's a power play goal here, JB, off the right point. There's Recchi, number 8, parked off the right side of Richter. 4-1 in the first. We go to the second period. This puck gets to the net. as it goes off Kovalov's stick, 4-2. Big goal right here. Doug Lidster off the rear end of Patrice Brisebois, 5-2. A huge goal, that 5th one for the Rangers.
Rangers 2 or 3 on the power play, trying to ride Lemieux.
Lemieux is right. Washington puts themselves in a hole early. This is early first period on a power play. Keith Jones takes a bad penalty for Washington. Zubov to Lemieux. Goal. Mario leading the Penguins, but this is goal number 3. The hero of Game 4, Nedved to the net. Ronnie Francis knocks in the rebound. At that point, JB, it's 3-0. Second period, Hunter's going to go to the net, bang it in. Ken Reggett gives up only his 2nd goal in over 200 minutes of playoff hockey.
Reggett's been playing well, and folks, we've got more exciting Stanley Cup action coming your way next week right here on Fox. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Scott Ackerson, our producer, loves choice cuts. Guess what? That's coming up next.
MasterCard presents the NHL Play of the Week. Jocelyn Thibault was a smash on Broadway.
It's saved by Thibault, and he swept it off the doorstep. Great goaltending.
Red Hall starred in Shorthanded in St. Louis.
He scored!
But Peter Nedved gets top honors for his 4-overtime thriller.
It's over! Peter Nedved has done it!
MasterCard, official card of the NHL and proud sponsor of the NHL Play of the Year.
Off you go.
No. The tamper-resistant signature panel, pioneered by MasterCard. It makes a stolen card practically worthless. MasterCard. It's smart money. To the designers of the Dodge Stratus, performance isn't just how a car handles, but what it handles. So along with a rigid frame and modified double wishbone suspension for control, they also developed the biggest trunk in its class. So Stratus isn't just a great driver's car, it's a great packer's car. Dodge Stratus. It's full of answers. Now during the Best Buy celebration, get $1,000 cash savings, 1.9 financing, or a low lease rate.
Are you ready? Let's go. Get out and play. Give whatever you've got. You like that? Gatorade. Good. You're gonna get thirsty. Gatorade. Life is a sport. Tough day. Drink it up.
You know, I knew Advil was good. But this good? I was just in the dentist chair. Big time pain. What does my doctor recommend? Not the prescription pain reliever you'd expect, but Advil. Come on, Doc. Advil works better than a prescription. You know, it did. Advil's that good.
On tough dental pain, 2 Advil work better than any 2 extra-strength Tylenol. Even better than 2 tablets of Tylenol with codeine.
Advil just works better.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Tonight, Al Bundy wrestles with the original Beast. A brand new Married with Children, part of a full hour tonight.
Word is you guys are writing a book.
Yeah, it's about the fine art of power hitting. We're calling it Babe Ruth Schmabe Ruth. It'll teach kids early on, because art takes years of fine-tuning. Just ask Picasso or Mozart.
Some say your power hitting started the same day you moved to the thin air of Colorado.
You know, Larry and I are getting a little tired of that.
Baseball on Fox. Same game, new attitude. Saturday afternoons beginning June 1st.
And welcome back to Hollywood and the NHL on Fox. You know, when the playoffs come around, the spotlight, no doubt, is directly on the stars. It's time for them to shine, because if they don't, their season is over. Now, what the past couple of weeks has shown is that some of those stars have become supernovas.
Dennis thought he was all
up in front of the net on the power play, intercepted the other way. Down broke, scores! A short-handed goal! Back into the middle, alone in, shot, save for Russell, rebound, score! Peter Baldra! Fitzgerald going in, over to Primo. Incredible save by Happy Bullen. Oh, and it's got it stopped by Waugh. Perfect. Cross ice, Van Peesbrook sliding to make the save. Here's Sakic right in. Joe Sakic, a power play goal.
Quickly firing in front, Balloon. He went backhand, then forehand with a tricky move in close.
What an unbelievable move. I mean, he just did so many moves in there.
You know, listening to the oohs and ahs of my partner Dave Maloney underscores the fact that sometimes you just have to marvel at the abilities of these tremendous athletes. All right, folks, the Stanley Cup playoffs continue this week on ESPN and ESPN2 as the conference quarterfinals conclude. There will be no action tomorrow night. However, there could be 3 Game 7s on Tuesday, and ESPN and ESPN2 will take you there. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Regardless, ESPN will have round 2 beginning Thursday. And don't forget to catch all the Stanley Cup action on your local regional cable outlet as well. And the NHL on Fox continues after this.
Winnipeg Arena for the start of the third period after this word from your local Fox station.
The NHL on Fox. The Stanley Cup playoffs are brought to you by the Michelin X1 because so much is riding on your tires. By Jeep, makers of the new award-winning Jeep Grand Cherokee. By the Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning. And by Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL.
The fans in the Winnipeg Arena hoping this is not the last period of NHL hockey they're going to see, but if the Winnipeg Jets hope to extend the Red Wings to a 7th game in this series, they've got to find a way to score at least 3 goals. They've got only 20 minutes to do that. It's a pretty tall order against the best defensive team in the league.
That's the whole thing, Pat. Detroit's just shut the middle down. I mean, they've locked it up, and Winnipeg maybe has created 3 or 4 quality scoring chances. That's just all too familiar scene as far as if you're a Jets fan. They just have not been able to get through that Red Wing defensive bottle up, if you will, up the middle. And it's tough to score when you don't get a lot of chances. So Detroit, I would expect in this period, leading 3-0, are going to try to shut this thing right down and get out of here and try to move on.
9 shots on goal in 40 minutes of play for the home team. Now, they have not been peppered by Detroit the way they were in Game 5. This game summary is being brought to you by Bud Ice as you take a look at the numbers after 40 minutes of play. And the Red Wings have a 3-0 lead as we get ready for the third period. If it is not the final home game for the Winnipeg Jets, well, if it is anyway, they've had quite a history here in Winnipeg. This franchise was made when Bobby Hull arrived here and helped spark this team to 3 WHA titles. It really put hockey on the map in friendly Manitoba, as they like to call it up here, and a season to remember is what they've titled this 95-96 campaign, because next year, that's where they'll be, in Phoenix, the Phoenix Coyotes.
Well, the Jets will be shorthanded here for the first 11 seconds. Ed Olchuk remains in the penalty box. Rob Schick gets everybody in position and ready to go here for period number 3.
Taverdowski chasing it down and fires it along the boards. Sergei Fedorov is on the bench for Detroit. We saw you, or showed you, that he left late in the second period, but he has returned. And now, as the whistle has sounded, the penalty is over, and both teams are at full strength. Fedorov, we mentioned earlier, Mickey, without a goal so far in the series, but he assisted on the game-winning goal in the first 2 games of this series. And he's got 7 helpers to this point. Here's the draw taken by Janney. The pass deflects, and the Jets will have to chase back. Craig Muni moves it for Tverdovsky, and now the crowd starting to come to life once again. This is the way they were in the first period, but the Wings silenced them with 3 first-period goals that they have made stand up to this point of the game. Muni pinching into the corner. Well covered there by McCarty. Now Janney comes out of there with it, but his pass hit a skate. Now Kutchuk scooped it in behind the goal. Janney and Olczyk are both there. Then a centering attempt deflected away from Olczyk. And McCarty picks it up for the Wings and flies it back into the Winnipeg zone. Muni ahead for Olczyk. He got knocked down as he shot it in by Konstantinov, who took the feet from under him. Meanwhile, Fetisov to Fedorov. He was checked at center ice. He has to send it in. And if Harvey Bullen let that go, it would have been icing. He didn't know it. He played it, so the play continues. And the Jets able to clear it to center. Larionov to Konstantinov. He fires a long one. Harvey Bullen gloves it. And he's going to hang on long enough for a whistle.
Harvey Bullen did a lot of that on Friday night and just trying to shut it all down and not allow the Red Wings to continue their offensive pressure. He said, I'll take the faceoffs, but the Red Wings have dominated in that department as well.
Nikolai Khabibulin, you mentioned he got interested in the goaltending position very early. At the age of 14, read a book about the legendary Vladislav Tretiak, who's now the goaltending coach for the Chicago Blackhawks. He is really Ed Belfour's goaltending guru, and I don't think it's a coincidence that Jeff Hackett had his best year in the NHL. Having been helped by Tretiak as well. What a wonderful goal. Did you ever play against him?
Yes, I did. In Canada 72, the original series.
Did you ever score on him?
No, sir. I didn't score. Tried to take his head off a couple of times, but...
What a terrific guy he is.
Yeah, he was.
He's a great goaltender, obviously, and now lending his expertise to the Blackhawks and doing it quite nicely. Here's Fetisov, whose pass deflects at center. And now Numminen goes rink wide to a man who was going off for a change. Korolev was going to the bench, and that's who the receiver was supposed to be. Now McIver got it to Manson. Rink wide for Eastwood over the line. Centered it. Bouncing puck just eludes the Jet player, Ian Fraser, in the deep slot. Now Manson. Got it to McIver. And again to Manson. He has some room to the Red Wing line. Fires, and a save by Vernon. And the rebound cleared up over the glass and into the crowd. You know, we talked about the great performance in Game 5 of Khabibulin. A lot of people tell you just as tough to stand there at the other end, Mick, without a lot of action and maintain your concentration.
It sure is. And both Mike Vernon and Chris Osgood. Osgood's played all 3 games at home. Vernon's played 3 now on the road. They both had to go through that. Not having a lot of shots, that is. There's another 65-footer. But yeah, you sit there for the longest time. You're cold. You got to try to talk to yourself as your goaltender, fool yourself, stay in the game. It's not hard to stay in the game when it's a playoff game, but you get cold. You're not having a...
Is Chris Osgood acting up in class? How come he's sitting in jug? Kutchuk got taken down as he tried to get to that rebound, but Coffey managed to wrap him up beautifully.
He and Vernon have handled this rotation home and road beautifully. They're having more fun than anybody over the darn thing.
There really do seem to have been a couple who have been able to pull for one another. You don't always find that. Here's a goal ball scramble. Loose puck still. Wings glove it out of the crease. And here comes Detroit. Cicerelli has a rushing opportunity. Carries it forward. He fired it wide, going high on the short side.
That's out of play. Nobody knows it. They tried to make it a 2 and a 3-on-1, but they couldn't catch up, and Dina ripped it into the stands.
Most competitions start with a level playing field. But when you're competing for four-wheeler of the year, you can't count on anything being level. Presenting the new Jeep Grand Cherokee. With its long list of advancements, it didn't just win Four-Wheeler Magazine's Four-Wheeler of the Year award. It leveled the competition.
It's the Pizza Head Show.
Hey, everybody! Buy Pizza Hut pizza and you can get a Rawlings basketball for $4.99. Yay!
Hey, Pizza Head, how about a little one-on-one?
Well, okay.
Great. Beat your opponent.
But he's 6'40".
Don't worry. Here's referee Steve.
Oh, good. He's no ref.
Sure he is. Now get set.
Hey, wait, I'm not... What? No whistle?
Referee Steve says no harm, no foul.
Woo!
Come on, Pizza Head. No goaltending.
Goaltending? What game are you watching? Ah! Somebody call timeout!
See you next time.
Well, the Jets have finally broken the 10-shot mark. They've got 11. They would get one for credit in this pileup. Pete Primo grabs the puck. Of course, you can hand pass it in your own zone as long as the receiver takes the pass in his own zone. Kachuk's arguing that maybe he put his hand on it and closed it. You're not allowed to do that. But a hand pass is legal inside your own blue line, as long as the pass isn't taken or completed outside the line.
Now the draw. Taken by Johnson. In on Taverdowski, who rubbed him off nicely on the end boards. And now Mike Stapleton sends Kachuk to center. Heath Kachuk racing to the line, trying to split the defense. He did. He rolled a weak shot wide, though. And he was taken to the deck. Now Stapleton centered. It's picked off by Lidstrom. And then he put it up into the crowd. Oh, Kachuk just gave Vernon a little shot to the jaw.
Vernon was jawing at him and giving him some major chin music there, and Kachuk just gave him a little love tap on the face mask. Vernon tried to get him upset and get him off his game even more, but
Vernon looks like he's saying, come on, big boy, I'm going to be here all day.
Of course, those goalies got all that help and that equipment, Pat. You can't hurt them anymore.
Faceoff will be to the left of Vernon, who says this is the first time, or at least in the games in Detroit, it's the first time he's been healthy in the playoffs and not played for whatever team he's been with. As you said, he seems to, and Osgood as well, seems to really handle the situation marvelously.
Yeah, when I started in '67, the goalies didn't wear masks, and it almost seems like, how could they even do that? But none of them had them then. Well, there was a few stitches here and there.
Very able to clear the zone. Well, the Jets put it back in there. Stapleton going to move in on Coffey, and everybody wraps up in the corner.
You know, the thing is, Pat, though, today, in all seriousness, I don't know what they're feeding these kids today, but they're so much bigger and stronger and faster. And not just, maybe 1-2 guys on a team in the old days could really shoot the puck. Today, most of your guys can really rip it. And now they're with these competitions, they're shooting the puck, 90 to 110 miles an hour. And, boy, it's unbelievable.
That's why, talk about the records in all of sports, and to me, there is one record that will never be broken, and that is Glenn Hall playing every minute of every game for 502 in a row, and that without a mask.
Yeah.
It was finally a back problem that sidelined him. Unbelievable.
He was an acrobatic goaltender, wasn't he? Still in the business today with...
You've never met a bigger guy either. Here come the wings. Larionov, a shot. A good save by Happy Bullen. Rebound to Zemnov. Zemnov gets the line. Gets it around the boards. Warlock on a jam at 3.
That's out of play.
And the puck deflects into the crowd.
Detroit's just going to keep this thing right down to a dull roar here with a 3-0 lead. There's your scores out of town. Two other games today. And that game at Montreal, Rangers looking to wrap it up after losing the first 2 games of the series at home. And the same thing with Washington-Pittsburgh, although Pittsburgh had that big overtime win the other night with Lemieux ejected after the second period, and they went into 4 overtimes, 3rd longest game in the history of NHL playoff play. And they're looking to wrap it up at Washington today to move on to round 2.
Keith Primo and Mike Eastwood will get ready for the draw. And here is the face-off. Back of the goal, Doan jammed it loose. And try to make a return pass. It didn't connect, and Draper bounced it to center. Now Craig Muni. And on the wings able to steal a pass. Ciccarelli shooting it in. Muni for Shannon. The puck at his feet, standing still. Now gets a little help. And Tverdovsky able to get it to center where Olczyk sweeps it in there. And Olczyk on the center one. It hits some traffic, bounce to Airy. He feeds Ciccarelli. Ciccarelli waiting for a little help, but his teammates were changing, so he just puts it in and gets off. And Norm McIver able to swat it to center. Now McIver wants it again. 5.5 gone in the third. 3-0 Detroit. All the scoring came in the first period. 2 goals for Kozlov, the other for Yzerman for the Red Wings. Dave Manson. They're starting the Jets away. Let it to Janney. He scoops it in there. Barry held up along the end boards. It came loose to Yzerman, and he tapped it back into the neutral zone. Here's that Olczyk. Pass deflects at center. Now it's going to be a hand pass ruled as Konstantinov gloved it forward. Next touch by his teammate Johnson.
Now, Pat, Detroit plays a defensive system called the left wing lock, and this might be considered a double left wing lock, if you will. Jets are coming up. And look at this. Here's your forwards and back and your defense back at center ice right there. Look at the 3 of them all lined up across, and here comes the right winger back here to support. All you can do there is dump the puck in and go and get it. It's very frustrating to play against that kind of stuff because you just cannot carry the puck in, and the more you try, the more frustrated you get. And that's the way Detroit executed that stuff pretty well flawlessly all year long, shutting down the opposition's scoring chances, shots on goal, and goals.
And how about that number? Shots on goal so far in the series, nearly doubled.
He came in here exactly doubled, 188 to 94.
The Sverdlovsk stopper, Nikolai Habibulin from Sverdlovsk, which is a 2-hour plane ride from Moscow in the Soviet Union. Here's a steal and a shot on. Chad Kilger ripped it wide. Rebound Tverdovsky. Now into the corner it goes. McKenzie out there. Scooped it into the near corner, and Maltby sends it up the boards. Not out. Muni held it in. And now the Wings will safely clear it back the other way. Tverdovsky to Stapleton. Hammers it in there. Taylor, trying to get his 12th career playoff game, got rubbed off in the corner. Maltby came away with it, though, and bounced it to the Winnipeg line. Oleg Tverdovsky able to tip it back into Red Wing ice. Mike Ramsey chasing it down. Gave it to Nicholas Lidstrom. Now Larionov to Fedorov. He shoots it in, hoping for Kozlov, who gets to it in the corner. And Newman got to him. And Fedorov jammed it out. Fedorov trying to center one. Good block by Zhamnov. The race is on. Kachuk cutting in there. Centered it. It didn't get to Zhamnov. Hitting a leg instead. And the Wings look to counter. Larionov in over the Winnipeg Winnipeg line forced to turn back with it. Out to center ice. Now gave it to Kozlov, who shoots one. Abby Bullen made the save. And the rebound controlled by the home team. Jamnok away from one checker. And it's a Newman who sends it in. Hansen goes into the corner on Coffey. Kane loose to Kola. Feeding McCullough right in. He shoots. He scores! Norm McIver coming on a player change. None of the Red Wings saw him. And he fired it by Vernon on the stick side. It's 3-1.
This whole thing set up, Pat, when Detroit had possession behind the net and they gave it up, and I think it was Paul Coffey got blocked off from going to get it. Dave Manchin pinched right there, took Coffey out of the play. That allowed McIver to jump into the hole, take the pass, and look at that spot right above Vernon's blocker, right in the top corner. Perfectly placed by the defenseman McIver for the Jets' first goal on their 12th shot. And a 3-1 hockey game.
And they've been waiting for this for a couple hours here in the Winnipeg Arena.
McIver acts like a forward when he's up there. He's a guy they used to quarterback the power play a lot. A good set of hands on him, and he knows what to do with it when he gets in that area. The Red Wings now will be sitting over there, Pat, saying, all right, we know that these guys, they've got very little left to try to grab onto, but this is what they've got, and they're going to come at us now with everything but the kitchen sink. Now that they've got that goal and try to keep the momentum going, so you can bet they'll be attempting to completely shut this thing down.
It has seemed to me, Mickey, as if the Red Wings in the second period and here so far in the third have been content to try to stay at 3 goals and just look after their own end.
Yeah, they have, really. Exactly. They'll take it if it's there, but they don't want to gamble and give up an easy one. Now, this crowd is going to do everything they can to try to get their Jets back into this thing. 11:38 to go on the clock in the third period. And here we go.
Lidstrom for Ramsey. Now Primo. He's stopped by Manson at the line. McIver the other way. His pass didn't connect. Ciccarelli. Over to Keith Primo. Primo crisscrossing over the Jet line, trying to sweep it to the slot, but Doan in front to steal it. Shane Doan with an near side for Shannon. He couldn't get to it. Lidstrom held it in for Ciccarelli. He got pushed off the puck by Shannon. And it's cleared to center ice. Ciccarelli moves it back into the Jet zone. Shannon gave a good jolt along the boards in the process. And Dino had an answer for that as he went for a change. Now McIver. It was checked by Bergevin beautifully. And Janney is in his own end. To Tverdovsky. The pass is picked off at center. Coffey. Throws it back in. Now McCarty wrestling with Tverdovsky. Then Janney came up with it. Leading Muni. Greg Muni dumping it in. Bob Airy couldn't get away from Olchek. Back to the net. Kachuk center. Too hot to handle. Oh, a great chance it would have been for the Jets, Janney, but he couldn't hold the hot pass. Greg Muni will hoist it to the Detroit line. We're now halfway through the third. 3-1 is the Red Wing lead. Here's Fedorov. Cuts to that. Moves it. Shoots. He missed the far post by an inch. It's held in by Batista. Carrying it around the boards. Kozlov takes off from behind that. Slipped it in front. Larionov had the puck at his feet. Now Muni hacked at him. And got it to center. Kachuk. He's hammered by Konstantinov. Just as the puck got there, so did Konstantinov, and he flattened Kachuk with a crunching hit. shoots it in. Newman in. Up the board for Corlett. He lost it. And the Jets have to chase back. In the near corner, Newman in. He moves it across, and Finley goes up the middle. He missed Corlett. It slides back to the Red Wing zone. Taken by Tim Taylor in the corner. He kicked it loose. Lindstrom lost the handle. Now Ramsey put it to the near side. McIver held it in. Lindstrom now tries Taylor on the left side. He's got some space and pushed it into the center ice area. Carlisle will hammer it back into the Detroit zone. Eastwood hacked at a bouncing puck. Got help from Shannon along the boards. Side of it, just missing Eastwood. Comes to the near board, and Stapleton only able to get to it as the Wings clear. Dave Manson gave it to Newman. He was short of center, had to give up possession. Coffey now just throws it back into Winnipeg ice. Wings make a wholesale change on the go. Here's a lead for Eastwood over the line. Fires, and it deflects wide off the Fetisov. Into the corner it goes. Eastwood after it there against Fetisov. They wrestle in behind the net. Now Shannon wrapped up by Constantino. They hack away along the boards. Here's Shannon centering. It didn't get to Tverdovsky, rolling into the goal crease. And Vernon stops the play. And the fellow's getting a little anxious around that goal crease area, but this is hardly the time to do anything foolish for either team, because the Jets have cut into the Detroit lead. 3-1 now.
Sir, I was wondering if it might be all right with you, that is. Sir, I'd like to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage.
Nothing brings you together like an icy cold mackerel.
Let's go see if your new mother-in-law needs any help in the kitchen,
Still dialing 0 to call people collect? Stop! It's expensive. What to do? Dial 1-800-COLLECT. Here's how it works. Just dial 1-800-COLLECT and follow the simple instructions.
Thank you for calling 1-800-COLLECT. Enter the number you wish to call, area code first. Say your name.
Chris.
Please hold while we place your call.
1-800-COLLECT. It's easy when you know how.
Hi, honey.
At Michelin, we believe a tire that's just good in the rain isn't good enough. Introducing the Michelin X1 with a 6-year, unlimited mileage tread life warranty. It's the one tire that gives you better wet traction than any rain tire, plus control in any driving condition. After all, it hasn't rained that much in years. The Michelin X1.
Pat, this is what the Jets are up against. 4 Red Wings in behind the goal line, trying to help each other out and support. And only 2 Jets there. And that's the way Detroit is going to try to play this thing.
Now Manson, a long shot, doesn't get through. Draper knocked it down with a high stick. And because of that, the whistle sounds. Mickey Nair, at the conclusion of today's game, will select the Jeep Eagle player of the game. Ed Olczyk, Keith Kachuk, and Craig Janney out there for Winnipeg. Scotty Bowman now making a change after that last face-off. He brings out Yzerman, Airy, and McCarty. Now they're ready, and here's the draw. Here to the far side, Manson battling with Airy in the wings, able to clear the zone. There's McCarty stealing one, rolled it through the crease, but Janney starts back for the Jets. Craig Janney, the left side, McIver, bouncing puck. Rolled it to the corner. Kachuk is well covered. And Bob Airy hacked at it to McCarty. Bounced it to the line and then gloved it out to center, and that's a hand pass. And the whistle sounds. We're down to 7 minutes remaining in regulation time. Detroit with a 2-goal lead.
This season of sweaty, gritty, crushing engagements is brought to you in part by Speed Stick, the only ring tough enough for this league. Official deodorant sponsor of the NHL.
Today we're at the Eagle Test Drive sale along with Vicki Edmondson.
I'm just checking out this Talon deal. The commute is really getting to me in my Acura.
I could see you in an Eagle Talon.
Yeah, I could too. 140 horses, double wishbone suspension.
Well, aren't we speedy?
This Talon deal is unbelievable.
So's the traffic out there.
Now get $1,000 cash back on Eagle Talent. Tough athlete's foot, cure it the way doctors do. With the same unbeatable medicine they prescribe time and again. It's in prescription strength Desenex. Nothing cures athlete's foot better. Prescription strength Desenex with the doctor's cure.
Pat Robczyk has pretty much let them go here in the third period. These fans haven't stopped since the Jets scored their goal, their only goal, here in the third period.
Detroit had 12 shots on goal in the first period here today. Since that time, they've had 11 more. So indeed, it has seemed that after they got the 3-goal lead at the end of one, they felt that was probably enough and played Katie bar the door for the rest of the game. Well, they've been hit for one here in the third.
You're wondering why the face-out. They're going to bring it to center ice because that's what happens when the linesmen make a mistake, and they don't make too many. That pass was going to be a two-line pass. Taylor knew it, purposely didn't touch it, and somehow the linesmen thought they did. And so when there's a mistake made, they'll bring it back to center ice. Equal for everybody.
Now the Jets Newman to Mike Stapleton, whose dad was a great star in Chicago for many years. And Jandar chopped it in, Coffey back, put it around the boards. Everdowski pinched and held it in. Well, the Wings are able to clear it. The race is on at center, and Newman only picks it up for Winnipeg. To Korolev. He's forced to turn at center. Out it to Stapleton. In traffic for Zhamnov. Around the check to the deep slot. Put it to Tverdovsky. He ran into the official along the boards, and that cost him possession. Now Larionov able to clear it back to center ice. Larionov to Kozlov. His pass is deflected. Kozlov got it back, sends it wide. And Tverdovsky looks for Keith Kachuk. Down to 6 minutes left now in regulation time. The Jets need 2 more goals to have a chance. And their chances are few and far between. Here's Larionov cutting in there. Takes a look for Kozlov, and the pass never got through, and that hit Manson, deflecting just outside the post. Dave Manson deep in his own end. The problem with McCarty. And Janney able to get it to center.
Manson and McCarty, Pat, still all tied up in a knot at the blue line. And McCarty decides better, but Dave Manson, tough guy to be around.
He was one of those guys, if his eyes ever cross, get out of the way.
And they do.
Yes, they do. It has happened. I've seen it. Fine guy who really may have had his best year. He's had a terrific year for the Jets after struggling in Edmonton for a couple of seasons. And an outstanding year for Winnipeg. He was a +3 for the Jets coming into this game in this series. The best mark on the team. Doan battling Coffey. Shane Doan tried to slip it in front and didn't get there. Bergevin made a sliding block of the pass. 3 Jets behind the Detroit goal. Shannon working hard, then had it knocked away by Coffey, and he managed to clear it to center ice. Here's Primo, sending it in. Newman in. That is pass picked off by Kozlov, then Newman unable to get it back. Hipped it to Manson. Pass popped off the stick of Zhamnov. Down to 4 minutes to go in the third. 3-1 Detroit. The Wings have allowed only 13 shots on goal against. As the puck jumps over the boards and into the bench area. The Wings trying to end the series, in shape to do it.
Hey, guys, what do they call this, Bud? Ice? Ice Rouge. No, it's a bottle looks like ice. Bottle does look like ice. Ice Rouge, the manhead. The bottle is jagged and it looks like ice. Ice Rouge. Jagged. Hey, you guys. Take it outside. Okay, Coach.
Bud Ice, the official beer of the Hanson brothers.
Stupid machine took my quarter.
This is for Mr. Blanchard, who told me to make something of myself. For Miss Miller, who never let me settle for a C. For my parents, who believe in my dreams. For myself, for my future.
Be all that you can be.
Tonight.
Oh my God.
Witness the most terrifying animal encounters ever caught on tape. Robert Urich hosts When Animals Attack, tonight at 7, 6 Central.
Pat Foley and Mickey Redmond back in Winnipeg. The Detroit Red Wings came out and owned the first period. They outshot the Jets 12-5. 2 goals for Kozlov, one of them before the game was 4 minutes old. Then Steve Yzerman scored late in the period, and the Wings have made that stand up until here in the third. And Norm McIver got this crowd pumped up, and he now has the puck. Trying to find some more magic, because there have not been too many scoring chances for Winnipeg throughout the game and the series, really. Here's Korlev trying to center to two. He couldn't find the puck at his feet. Batista looking for Fedorov. He failed to get it out. McIver out around the boards. Kozlov to get to it. He's got plenty of time. And he tried to clear and eventually did. It trickled just outside the line. And the Jets are back in offside.
At Radio Shack, we carry thousands of electronic parts and accessories. Accessories that make what you already own work better, sound better, play better.
Help! Help!
Just tell us what you need.
Help!
We've even got those hard-to-get items. Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Mickey Dave Manson has been a target ever since he slashed the back of the leg of Fedorov in the late in the second period of this game. And as we were away, he got embroiled in some shenanigans with several Red Wings milling around, and he looked like he used the stick a couple of times.
He may be lucky he didn't get the heave-ho. He's over on the bench right now, but I don't think they have. Now, what did happen? Fetisov is going to the penalty box. He was one of the Red Wings, Pat, you're referring to. And here was the shot you were talking about in the second period. The two-hander to the back of the leg of number 91, Sergei Fedorov. And indeed, Manson and Fetisov end up in the penalty box.
But precious little time is left for the Winnipeg Hopes. 3:09 remaining in the third period.
Now, did I hear misconduct? That's a... unsportsmanlike conduct. Okay. I was going to say, you're looking for big-time trouble by not putting a guy to the dressing room if he's got a misconduct with 3:08 to go, 3:09 to go.
4 skaters aside now. And the face-off is taken by Newman. The Jets dump it in. Lidstrom on it. Nicholas Lidstrom. got it. Hammers it around the boards. It hopped away from Tverdovsky. Harry had to let it go. He would have been offside. Now Yzerman chasing for it. Or Airy shooting. That's deflected wide.
An interesting situation here, Pat, with those coincidental penalties. Of course, you're 4-on-4. There's 2:35 to go now. And you might see Terry Simpson get Habibulin out of there earlier than normal with a 3-1 deficit here.
Battle for it in the corner. Coffey has control. Cleared it to center. Taylor has a man with him. That's Draper. Taylor over the line for Draper to the backhand. He shoots. And a save by Habibulin. Rebound Corral by the wings, and then take a few more seconds off the clock. 2:10 left now. Ed Olczyk. Bouncing it in there. Ramsey chasing it down. Made it to the far side. Good hit by Muni. Just flattened Larionov. And then it's held in by Olczyk. I'm going to bank it into the deep slot, with the puck cleared back by the Red Wings.
So far, Terry Simpson not making any indication. Normally they'll pull a goalie with a minute to go to try to tie a game up, but being down by 2, you have to get him out of there with a minute and a half if you can.
Now Lindstrom mishandled it, but Yzerman there gets help from Coffey, and the race is on. Coffey in on Tverdovsky. Cuts to the net, shoots, and a save by Habibulin. Rebound to the Jets. Clock continuing to wind down to the Winnipeg Fortune. McGovern peels back with it, gave it to Kachuk. Now Zhamnov on the right side over the line. The coincidentals are over, and both teams are back at full strength. And we're into the final minute of Game 6, and maybe in the history of the Winnipeg Jets in the NHL.
Habibulin, there he goes.
There he goes, 6 attackers for the Jets as they dump it in. Coffey chasing it down. Hammers it around the board. Ciccarelli able to bounce it to center. Janney throws it right back in. Coffey put it to the far side. Taylor battling with Newman and got it loose to Ciccarelli. Dino with a chance for an empty net. The puck rolling out and he shoots. And he shot it wide. But the clock continues to wind down. There's a steal by Primo. An empty netter, and Detroit has won the series. And they will advance to the second round to play the St. Louis Blues.
Ironically, that's Primo's first goal of the series, too. And he's had lots of scoring chances that couldn't get it past the Boulin wall. And here he gets a freebie. As Tverdovsky couldn't get it by him, and that's all she wrote. And this group here now in Winnipeg, unlike last week, up, standing, cheering their hockey club as they move on to Phoenix for next season.
And you're right, everybody in this place is standing and cheering. The game is over, the series is over, the history of the Jets in Winnipeg is over. And you're about to see one of the best traditions in all of sport, as these teams, after going at it tooth and nail for 6 games, will line up and exchange handshakes. And the Red Wings certainly didn't feel it would have taken them this long. You have to give a tip of the hat, especially for the guy wearing the mask in the Winnipeg goal.
That's for sure, Pat. I don't think anybody expected that the Jets would even win 1 game, let alone 2. And
so the ceremonial handshakes go on. And we'll come back here to the Winnipeg Arena in just a few moments. The Wings win the series, and this game today 4-1.
Eagle Vision is the first sedan in the world with the auto stick system. Porsche offers their version in a coupe. This German engineer will compare. Du kennst mich doch. Ich liebe Schwarz. So what do you think, Goods?
Also, was denkst du denn, Goods?
Das ist sehr gut. Ich meine, einfach zum automatisch, Autostick.
He likes the choice of automatic or auto stick. Excellent handling without the clutch.
What's he think of Vision's price?
They're screwed.
No, we get the message. Thank you.
Now get $1,500 cash back on Eagle Vision TSI.
I can't believe I'm losing my hair back here.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, right.
Look, if you want to regrow some hair, check this out.
Rogaine? Don't you need a prescription?
Not anymore.
How's it work? Rogaine goes to the root of your hair, and for some people, gets it to grow.
What have you got to lose?
Nothing, I guess, except more hair.
That's been easy to use.
And it's starting to work.
See, there's room for growth in every relationship.
Rogaine, medically proven to regrow hair.
Engine wear occurs when you start your car. Because most of the oil isn't up in the engine, it's down in the oil pan. So add Slick 50 at your next oil change. It treats the vital moving parts of your engine with a super slippery layer of protection at startup and can reduce engine wear by up to 48%. Slick 50. Starting your engine without it is a terrible thing to do.
The new reloadable smart card. The future is happening now down under and on its way here. From MasterCard, it's smart money.
Still dialing 0 to call people collect?
Hello?
Stop! It's expensive. What to do? Dial 1-800-COLLECT. As seen on TV, dialing 1-800-COLLECT instead of 0 saves the people you call up to 44%.
Hello?
Hi, honey. Just dial 1-800-COLLECT. Follow the simple instructions and your call will go through in seconds.
Oh, hi, Grandma.
Calling home, save yourself money.
What a deal!
Kids love it.
So easy.
1-800-COLLECT. Dial it today.
Imagine your feet are under attack by many flesh-eating predators. That's athlete's foot. To cure them all, you have to kill them all. Lotrimin AF. Full prescription-strength medicine. The brand doctors recommend most. Lotrimin AF. The killer cure.
The thing I love about hockey is, although it's physical, you don't have to be big to play this game. There are plenty of players my size. I mean, look at Théo Fleury. Look at Pat LaFontaine. I'm 5'7.5". I weigh 140. I'll be sitting down. Hockey, it's a beautiful thing.
The Stanley Cup playoffs on Fox next Sunday.
Because the world can be a big, scary place. The Chevy Blazer with the exclusive driver control system. It's nice to know it's there.
It's Little Caesars. Stuffed crust pizza and pepperoni stuffed crazy bread for $8.99. You can't afford a big name. Now they want a sports celebrity. We can do sports.
Caesars stuffed crust pizza plus cheese and pepperoni stuffed crazy bread carried out just $8.99 or have it delivered. Delivery. This is WJBK-TV, Fox 2 Detroit.
This is over. The players exchanged handshakes. They all left the ice. Then the Jets came back out onto the ice, taking a curtain call, a lap around, led by their captain, Keith Kachuk. Nobody in the stands has left this arena. They're all still standing and cheering. And there was the scene a moment ago as the Jet players came out to say thanks to the fans who have been so supportive. Our Jeep Eagle player of the game today, Vyacheslav Kozlov, who scored 2 goals. Jeep Eagle proud to donate $1,000 in his name to the Amateur Hockey Association of his choice. Here's the way the Western Conference looks now. Things have gone pretty much true to form. A minor upset by St. Louis over Toronto, so the Blues and the Red Wings will get ready to lock horns in the semifinals in the West. And the Colorado Avalanche, who wrapped up their series last night, will take on the Chicago Blackhawks. Now for Mickey Redmond, Pat Foley saying so long from the Winnipeg Arena. Detroit wins the series 4 games to 2. They won this game 4-1. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast. They're now the Phoenix Coyotes.
Tonight, catch the most terrifying animal encounters ever caught on tape as Robert Urich hosts.
Was a tough shot, and I was just going to say, I think they need to get something going to the hole. Somehow got to get themselves an easy bucket or a trip to the foul line, but Allen Houston responded with a tough jump shot.
68-59. Orlando leads it. Penny Hardaway backing in, bothered by Grant. Now somebody in a foul. Mike Mathis calls a Terry Mills foul as the big fella came to help. And we'll get a Piston timeout. 2:34 to play in the third. 68-59 Magic on the Pistons Playoff Television Network.
Make the call with your very own Detroit Pistons prepaid calling card. Don't miss out on the new limited edition collector's card, like the Grant Hill Series, Joe Dumars, Allen Houston, plus some of your other favorites. Collect them all. They're the official prepaid calling cards of the Detroit Pistons. Get them now. They're hot. Call now for more information on how to obtain your official Detroit Pistons prepaid calling cards.
You work hard, you play hard too. You take your fun seriously, and we do too. With Dunham Sports.
Now, save up to 45% on rollerblade and ultra wheel inline skates only at Dunham's. That's right. Save up to 45% on the hottest inline skates on the market.
The winner in you, the best in sports is all we do. Dunham's Discount Sports. Get in the game at Dunham's.
You don't have to spend a lot of money to express yourself. Try Hungry Howie's Express. One large pepperoni pizza ready in about 15 minutes, only $5.99. Express yourself at Hungry Howie's.
Audio 96 official Pistons playoff T-shirt and hat during our game. Boy, they look great, too. Call 810-377-0100. Salespeople are standing by to take your orders. Call now. Don't miss this great offer. It's the official playoff T-shirt and hat. Check your local listings to catch the exciting Pistons playoff action against the Magic both Sunday afternoon and Tuesday night. Don't miss all the playoff action this week on the Tube.
Well, I got my hat, and I know you got one as well there.
Very nice.
Man.
Very nice.
I'll wear it proudly.
Pistons back in the playoffs for the first time since '92. The last time there was a first time since was back in '84.
Yeah.
When you and Isaiah and Bill Lambier and the rest.
Well, it was an exciting time, and what a memorable series against that New York Knicks team.
EJ.
They're still talking about it, and I still see it on TV. Unfortunately, we were the ones that fell short 3-2.
A miss and a make.
And Pistons have to be pretty fortunate. They haven't played well this third quarter, but the Magic haven't exactly taken advantage of it. They do have a 10-point lead, but could be a lot bigger.
First action for Michael Curry. Allen Houston misses the tray. Lindsay couldn't get the tap to go. And Billy Oakes
I like
whistle
that.
Penny Hardaway for the foul.
I like that. What happened there is Lindsey Hunter, came in. You're going to get a shot here. On the offensive board, he clearly gets hit. And Billy Oakes was underneath the basket and just couldn't get his mouth on the whistle. So it was late, and even though the Pistons complained, I think he knew it was a foul, but couldn't get the air to the whistle, so to speak. But it was the correct call, and he said, my fault. You appreciate that as a player.
Oh, yeah. Lindsay got one. Pistons within 9. 2 minutes and 10 to play in the third. Michael Curry, Lindsey Grant, Allen and Joe on the floor. Pistons go small. Brian Shaw shot spins out. Nick Anderson hooks it back. He hits it. Count it, and a foul.
That kills you, those second shots. And the Magic with a small team as well as the Pistons out there. Someone forgot to get a body on Nick Anderson.
Joe Dumars with the foul.
See Nick Anderson sneaking in. Staying with it. Gets it in with the reach-in.
Anderson makes it a three-point trip. And a 72-60 lead. Michael Curry against Horace Grant. Houston against Anderson. Joe against Scott. Hits it to Grant Hill. Fires and it falls. Grant Hill with a tough shot there with a shot clock running down.
He knew it. He got help from Mike Abdenauer yelling go to it, but just enough to one more dribble and popped it from about 18.
13 points, 10 boards, 4 feeds for Grant. A great steal there, but he lost it. Look out. Dennis
talk about
drills the triple.
Talk about heartbreaking. Grant makes a great steal. Knocked away, goes right to Horace Grant, who pitches it to Dennis Scott for the three.
75-62. Orlando leads it. Final minute, third quarter. Lindsey shot. Rejected by Hardaway, then caught. Curry blocked Anderson's shot, but goaltending's going to be called.
Boy, a great hustle by Michael Curry. He thought he got it clean, but it might have been on the board. You'll get a look. The defense starts with Penny. The block by him against Lindsey. The push to Nick Anderson.
Allen Houston missed it lefty, but down he goes. Dennis Scott got him. Doug Collins trying to fire up his team. They're down now 77-62. 40.6 seconds to play in the third.
Now he knows this is critical. You don't want this game to become a blowout. Trying to urge the troops on to hang in there like they did in the first half. Keep this game around 10. Right now it's 15, and he'd love to go in under 10.
Biggest lead for Orlando.
Cuts it up.
Soft shot for Allen Houston. Now a triple and a free throw here in the third for a 15-point night so far as Don Reed rests Grant Hill. First action for Don.
He never showed much emotion, so I don't think this really hits him a whole lot.
We won't know if he's nervous.
Never, but I tell you what, he's a competitor.
Great guy to have around. 77-64 Orlando. 30 seconds to play in the third. Pick and roll, Shaw and Dennis Scott. Brian Shaw. That's the triple.
Yep. Screen and roll a couple of times. Once again, a little dish. Defensive help and the kick out to Shaw, who drains it.
80-64. 12 seconds to play in the third. Well, they could use a hoop here.
Got time.
Rejected by Allen Houston at the horn. At the end of three, it's 80-64 Orlando on the Pistons Playoff Television Network.
Am I blue? Am I blue? La, 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 dee, la.
One of the reasons more people choose Blue Cross Blue Shield is because more doctors accept Blue Cross Blue Shield. You feel better if you're blue.
La, da, dee. Am I blue?
Michael, what can
you tell us about your future plans?
I'd like to buy myself a ballpark.
Michael Jordan is going to buy a Major League ballpark. Will he buy Comiskey? Will he buy Yankee Stadium? How much is Jordan willing to pay for a ballpark?
15, 20.
Your usual, Mr. Jordan. One ballpark.
Ballpark Franks. So full of flavor, they plump when you cook them.
You know, I might just have enough for 2 ballparks.
And try new Ballpark Fat-Free Classics. All the taste and none of the fat.
Recently, Car and Driver magazine rated Dodge Intrepid over the new Ford Taurus. They described Intrepid as poised, agile, and athletic. They said it was born to run. They went on about its vast interior, calling Intrepid outstanding, and concluded it's a lot of car for the money. Car and Driver just can't say enough about Intrepid, but we like it when they try. Intrepid. This changes everything.
How does Bell Tire guarantee the lowest price on everything or it's free? That question drives our competition nuts. We'd like to tell them how we have more tires and custom wheels than they do, and how during our Nobody Comes Close sale, everything's up to 60% off. And Bell Tire's customers never pay for extras. Now save up to 60% on everything, like top-rated Kelly tires. How do we do it? We'd like to tell the competition, but do you think they'd get it? Bell Tire. Nobody comes close, nobody's closer.
Feels good. I think when you go through something like last year where you didn't make the playoffs or the postseason, it makes you appreciate the playoffs that much more. And so I'm excited, and I'm ready to be here. I'm ready to play. I'm ready to have fun, and hopefully we can go as far as we can.
Grant Hill's played well tonight. 13 points, 10 rebounds. 4 assists and a quarter to go. Not happy with the score. You can tell by the look on his face.
Yeah, Doug just trying to urge the troops on. He felt, number one, they've got to become more aggressive. He feels they're being out-hustled by the Orlando Magic. They're not getting the loose balls. The Magic are getting all of them, and that's something that's not typical of Doug Collins' team. Look for them to come out with a lot of fire early in this fourth quarter.
Crowds on it. Speed at the arena.
Well, they can't wait any longer, George. They've got to make an impression quickly in this fourth quarter. You see them getting outscored 33-17.
Donald Royal seeing his first action tonight. Was Shaq, Dennis Scott, Anthony Bowie, and Brian Shaw against Joe, Allen, Grant, Michael Curry, and Mark West.
Got to make some headway the first 5 minutes.
Shaq doubled. Dennis Scott nails the triple.
That's not going to do it.
83-64. 6 triples tonight for the guy who now has the NBA season and single game record. Grant Hill to the rim, got it down.
One of the few times that Grant's been able to get all the way to the hole. Cool it.
Deep for Shaq, and he is double-teamed and fouled.
Good hard foul. Rather than giving up the dunk, put him on the foul line.
His 5th first team foul.
83-66 Orlando with Shaq shooting 2.
Bowie with the drive, a little hook pass into Shaq, and Mark takes a hard one right there. Along with Grant.
Shaquille with 21. He still has 21. 84-66.
3 of 8.
Allen's triple rolls away to Mark West. Back at the basket against Shaq. Hooks and doesn't hit it. Boy, tough luck there. And the Pistons have had more than their share. Brian Shaw finds Bowie. Bowie against Joe. The clock is now at 12. Shaquille lost
that
the
should have been a
handle.
travel.
Hooking anyway and hitting is Brian Shaw.
George, I thought Shaq lost that basketball and caught it.
Yep. Grant over Dennis Scott, and he drills it. Grant hasn't blinked in his first playoff game. He has 17. We have 10 and 16 to go. Brian Shaw gets the deuce back, though, for Orlando.
They're playing very confident right now. You can sense the shots they're taking. They feel like everything's going in. They're working on all cylinders.
Joe got some contact on a Brian Shaw foul. He did just what he wanted to do there, and he will shoot two. I wish my dad and his wife a safe trip up to Grayling for the summer after they see this playoff game tonight. They saw a great second quarter Piston comeback. Maybe there's another comeback left in this team with 10 minutes to go.
Now, this is a tough place to play to begin with. They only lost 4 games here all year, and I know they're probably a real good team ahead after 3. To come back from 19 down is a tall order, but you still got to play through it. No time to get discouraged.
Joe makes 2, has 14, 88-70 Orlando. Running time, 9 and 54 left. Dennis Scott against Houston. Count it with a foul. They finally made a deuce. All triples till then. 90-70 Magic. Timeout. 9 and 48 to go on the Pistons Playoff Television Network.
Looking for something?
Yeah, that dime from Sprint's long distance plan.
Having trouble finding it, huh?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the dark.
Well, that's because depending on when you call, the Sprint Sense rate isn't always a dime. In fact, it could be a quarter.
That puts a whole new light on things.
And on average, most people can save more with AT&T True Reach Savings than with Sprint Sense when they spend just $25 a month. So, what do you think?
I think I found what I'm looking for.
That's your true choice, AT&T.
What's he got that I ain't got?
He's probably got a view from.
Look at the size of that thing.
Yeah, 1/3 of a pound. 2 beef patties, double cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, onions, the works.
You like him big, huh?
It's not the size, it's the taste. Stupid.
Taste.
If finding the negative of a photo you'd love to reprint or enlarge has ever had you up to your neck, come to Arbor for new Pronto prints. In minutes, we reprint or enlarge any picture up to 8 by 10 without the negative. And by using Kodak digital imaging technology, the quality's assured every time. Arbor Pronto prints, reprints and enlargements in minutes without the negative, and positively. Only at Arbor.
Every brand we sell comes with 2 things, a great deal and a box.
ABC Warehouse, the closest thing to wholesale.
Now get this Iowa 3-disc mini system, just $249 or less.
90-70. Orlando. As we look at 9 and 48 to go. Brian Hill against Doug Collins. Grant Hill has 17 Piston points. Dennis Scott with 20 for the Magic. 6 of his 7 makes and 13 tries are triples.
Well, you know what you get when you see Dennis Scott. He's going to hang around that 3-point line. Very rarely will he go inside it.
How about that? He makes the free throw, so the only deuce turns out to be a 3-point play anyway. Grant baseline driving for the dunk.
Oh, that was your favorite song right there with Grant Hill, Blue Bayou, in stereo.
Roy Orbison. One of my favorites.
Okay.
I know you like having seen him by the shot line. Here is Bowie wide open, and he buries it.
And that's what the Pistons are wondering right now about their defense.
Grant with a step-up gun, and he got it. Grant with 21, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. 93-74 Orlando. This thing was tied at 47 at the half.
I thought this would be a game that they had to try to keep under 100. And it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, as Dennis Scott knocks down a 2, and they're at 95.
Michael Curry against Donald Royal. Houston comes to get it against Brian Shaw. Leans into some contact and gets it with 8